WTIC Weather Center forecast.
Mostly sunny, warm, and breezy conditions out there this afternoon. The high around 80 degrees. Southwest winds at 12 to 25 miles an hour with some gusts between 30 and 40 miles an hour at times. Tonight, clouds increasing, lows in the 50s. Wednesday looks mostly cloudy. Some showers will be spreading in from west to east, especially in the afternoon, although some parts of western Connecticut could see a touch of rain before noon. Highs about 65 to 70 tomorrow. Still some showers at times tomorrow night with lows in the upper 40s, and then becoming partly sunny on Thursday with highs in the low to mid 60s. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds Friday with highs in the low to mid 60s and some more showers developing during the day Saturday. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
If you dread dealing with your insurance more than you dread yard work, with a swarm of hungry mosquitoes buzzing around, then you might have Insuranoia. You should have NJM Insurance. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
If you want to get your kids interested in investing, let them get their hands dirty. Financial planner Shane Gornick says you can set up a custodial account.
A parent would set up the account on your child's behalf.
Or you can start with paper trading, which doesn't involve real money.
Using real prices and real data.
The goal is to ignite their curiosity.
To get them interested in it and want to learn more.
I'm Rob Hart.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
Hey, if you're looking for a reliable car that won't break the bank, Mitchell Auto Group has Mitchell Select, an exclusive lineup of affordable pre-owned vehicles, each car carefully inspected with a 150-point check and comes with a 12-month warranty so you can drive with confidence. Sedans, SUVs, whatever it is, Mitchell Select has options for everybody. Go to MitchellAutoGroup.com, browse the inventory today. Mitchell Auto Group, delivering quality and value, and always, people, drive safely.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The
show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! Let's go! All right, all you scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists, and you damn well know you haters are included. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Another day, another dollar. $12.35 after taxes. $12.35 after taxes. Keeps getting smaller and smaller, doesn't it? You know, I wanted to talk about this yesterday, but I'm going to talk about it today. And I'm glad I got the opportunity to. There are no coincidences. We're having a kind of a day here. I would even go so far as to say we're having a particular time here in Connecticut. We're starting to get a little bit of national attention. Our small little space in the world starting to get some national attention. I just watched Fox Business do a segment on the Homeschooling Act. Listen to those folks talk about it. And it's an interesting time. And I know that people are wondering, you know, what's going to happen? Like, how far can this go before there's a turnaround? Folks, there must be change in a way that many of you have not considered. To end this radical behavior by Democrats in the state. And I'm going to go after so many things today that I need to talk about that I don't want to use the word shy. I hedged on. And it's about that time. We're into May. It's the 5th day of May. And before we know it, we are in full swing. Hell, we'll blink an eye and we'll be dead in the middle of August. And nothing's going to change unless there is a real change of heart in the way we do things here in the state of Connecticut. There's a part of me that almost needs to go after the naysayers. And I want to commend those who have sort of gotten off that trip lately. Let me begin this way. So yesterday on the program, I failed to talk about this article. Let me see if I have the actual visual aid here. There it is. Put it down there for people on the screen who are watching the program online, reeseontheradio.com, and others. It is a list that came out that said the top 10 hated states in the U.S. And for those of you who can see that list, you'll notice that the nutmeg state is number 9. And you may say, oh, well, we're 9. We don't top the list. There are 50 states. We're number 9. That's not cool. When I got here, I told you all, and people like Rudy in Florida, Ralph in South Carolina, George in St. Louis, many, ribbing me a little bit, said, you were in Texas. What are you doing here? Well, the good folks here at WTIC said I had to come. We're going to cut you a check, but you got to come. You got to be here. You got to be in the misery with all of us. And so I was excited. And plus, it was an opportunity to get back to my roots in radio, and that's right here in Hartford. But a lot of you chastise me. What are you coming back here for? No, stay in Texas. It's the wrong place for you to be at the wrong time. It's over for us. It's game over here. And what did I tell you? No, I refuse. There has to be a change. Atmospheric at best, but there has to be a change in culture. And that's how everything changes. So you have to start rooting for the home team. You have to start giving them the kudos, the backbone, sort of play the 12th man like they do in Seattle. Seahawks, that is, not the whole place. But you know what I mean? The cheering section, the motivator. That's important. You put a little bit of a battery on the backs of those who are trying to change it. You encourage them. You cheer them on. You push them over the finish line. I came here and I said, this kind of attitude can't stand. Not in order to be winners. You can't be winners saying, what for? That's not how winners win. That's how losers lose. They've given up the fight before the fight has begun. Plus, you got to stop it with the inability to take the punches. You got to take a few. Sometimes you got to be beaten down to the ground. Sometimes you got to be humiliated to the point where you just say, all right, that's it. That's enough. I'm done. I am not going to take this line down. I'm sick and tired of being kicked around. And you guys have been kicked around, and most of you, I mean that lovingly, most of you have just shrugged your shoulders and said, I'm not getting in it anymore. Okay, fine. But those of us who want to fight, we're going to put in the punches. We're going to take the licks. Don't give us any guff about it. Don't call me up and say, Reese, what for? I'm going to ignore you. I believe in winning. And I know I have to lose in order to. So back to my point. Yesterday, Connecticut landed on this list of the top 10 most hated states. We landed at number 9. And this ranking comes from a group called Zappia. It's a career and job website. So it's not based in politics. And back in 2022, they pulled together what they called the most hated states in America, looking at 3 hard numbers. First, Gallup poll data on what percentage of people in each state say about their own state. Is it the worst possible state to live in? Second, actual population loss over year to year. That's what they want. And they took the Instagram poll of about 300,000 followers, asking people from every state which other state they hated the most. And they counted how many states pointed the finger at each one. And they crunched these numbers. Here's what they came up with and why particularly, because I don't care about the other states on the list, which, by the way, for those of you who are asking, number 1 was Illinois, number 2 was New Jersey, number 3, New York, number 4, West Virginia, number 5, California, 6, Massachusetts, Michigan, 7, Mississippi, 8, us, 9, Connecticut, 10. Kentucky, 10. Here's where Connecticut falls in this. Again, don't care about the other states. The study puts Connecticut 9th overall. The breakdown specifically tells you everything. 17% of Connecticut residents themselves say their state is the worst possible state to live in. That's the highest level of self-hate percentage in the entire list, except for Illinois, which is at number 1. They're at 25% of self-hate. Here's crazy. 0 other states named Connecticut in the top 10. In any other states, I apologize. None of the other states on the list listed Connecticut as their most hated neighbor. Not one. No external pylon from Massachusetts, New York, or anywhere else. No one pointed to Connecticut as a horrible state. We're the reason why we ended up in the top 10. We were the highest outside of Illinois. Still make up the 10% because of that 17% internal disgust. Combined with measurable population decline, that was enough to push the ranking up on its own. So we have people leaving and 17% in the state hating the state. That's not cheerleading. That isn't. You can't self-hate and then expect to be a winner. I know a lot of you have given up. But I don't know how you ever expect to win with that attitude. And maybe you don't want to. I accept that too. Some people, and I talk to them all the time, hell, I just talked to somebody recently, just said, I don't want to get in it. I don't want to get into it. I'm just so sick and tired. I hate it. I'm done. I'm tired. Some people just want to leave because of that. But my view is, those of us who really want to save it, get out of the way. Get out of our way. And the way that you do it is by speaking to the people who can help you make change. Think about that. It's also something I began when I got here. I talked to you all. A lot of you were so into your side of the aisle that you often chastise me. Reese, why do you bother? Reese, why do you talk to them? Why do you keep taking Tim's calls? I don't know why you waste your time. I don't. I remember the woman who whispered into my ear. She said, I don't know how you could be married to a liberal. My neighbors are liberals, and I never talk to them. I went, what? That's insane. In Texas, our neighbor who lives across the street, Heather, she goes to every No Kings protest. She's got stickers all over her car. Trump's a fascist, the whole 9 yards. We still have coffee with her. Well, when we lived there. I borrow their tools. They borrow my tools. We talk. I mean, we love them. They watch our house when we're out of town. We disagree with them on politics, and we have the conversation. Never once has any of us ended up with a swastika or a racial epithet on the side of our home. Just haven't seen it. When they come out every day, hey, Reese, hey, Roseanne, hey, Heather, hey, Al. And we work it out. I know all that other stuff that people are talking about. I just can't, or I don't. Nah, it's nonsense. It's bull. On the ground level, why? We need our neighbors. Even when they don't agree with us ideologically. We need our neighbors. We care about our neighbors. I was just talking to someone here at the office. They're friends with somebody who's a stone cold liberal for 15 years. They don't agree ideologically, but they say, no, this is my friend. I've known him for too long. Why end it now? It doesn't make sense. So I devised a list. I love lists. You can talk to your neighbors. And you could talk to your left-leaning neighbors. And you could talk to them about Ned Lamont. Because that's where all of this lies. He's the governor. And sure, other places, in the state legislature, they probably go there too, but go over this list. You know one of the biggest problems here is in the state, the electric bills. Connecticut still posts some of the highest residential electric rates in America, second only to Hawaii. Routinely 30 cents per kilowatt. Lamont's public benefits charge and green energy mandates have added hundreds of millions to ratepayer bills for years. With hard-working class and fixed-income household getting crushed while the governor takes victory laps over tiny temporary drops in pricing. How do you not? You don't think you can win that argument with your liberal neighbors? This is why this guy can't come. He can't be reelected. He's done nothing. He keeps saying he's going to do something. But first he'll propose $200, then he proposes another $30 for 6 to 8 months. What is it, 18? I don't know how many months. Who cares? It's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. You can't be voting for that anymore. That affects you too. Property taxes. Forcing seniors out of their homes. One of the big things that we noticed about the No Kings rally, what did we see? Elderly people, senior citizens, they were out there with the Trump is a fascist, Trump is a Nazi, all that stuff. But guess what? Those very people are being priced out of their homes. Those very people are being priced out of the state. You can't reach them with that? I asked a lot of those people at those No Kings rally who were so enamored with palace intrigue and Donald Trump, they knew nothing about what's going on in their own backyard. They didn't care. This is how you can reach out to them. Of course, you know about the exodus out of the state. Start talking to your neighbors, especially on the left. Can you afford to stay here? If we don't do something, we're all going to be made to leave. I don't think I can deal with the taxes anymore. Are you doing okay? Because I'm not doing okay. I've got at least 17 more I need to go over. But we've got to take a break. And that's okay. I think I'm going to post this list. That's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to post this list. You got to share it with your friends and your neighbors. You got to ask them, are these the things that you can vote in your legislature again for? Is Martin Looney going to get off just going home, just saying, hey, screwed up the state. Now I'm going into retirement. What about your retirement? We'll come back. We'll talk about this some more when we return. It's Reese on the Radio.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Brian Shackman here for QC Kinetics. You know, at some point you stop calling it pain and you just say, this is how I am now. Well, that's not okay. And I'm dealing with it myself too, with my shoulder and my ankle. I'd love to lead you back to the normal you, the one who was active and carefree. So let's get started now with an introduction to the medical team at QC Kinetics and their long-lasting regenerative treatments for joint pain. Now, for me, I've already started the process of talking to them. I filled out the initial forms to find out if I'm right for it, and I am. And I'm ready to go to the next step because I'm tired of living with the pain. The science is real. The treatments are natural. Your body already knows how to heal. QC Kinetics finally gives it the right tools to do so. No operating room, no hardware, no watching summer come and go from a recliner. Just getting back to the you that you want to be. And now's the time, because the longer inflammation sits, the more damage it does. It's not a I'll get around to it type thing. Right now is the right time. And the first step is the toughest, and just do it now. QC Kinetics. Better starts here. Schedule your free consultation today. Avon, New Haven, or Glastonbury. 860-440-PAIN. Again, 860-440-PAIN. Hey,
I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 2:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Bob Cox has the forecast details coming up. State House Democratic leaders say they won't be able to vote on SB 503 before the end of the session. That's the Senate-passed bill that would have expanded parole eligibility for those who committed crimes at a young age. You're not sure they have the votes for it, according to the House Speaker. A controversial bill regulating homeschooling in Connecticut, including notification to the Department of Children and Families when pulling a student out of school. That passed late last night. Opponents argue the bill adds too much government oversight on families who aren't doing anything wrong. Vice President Vance, he's traveling to Iowa today, trying to drum up support for candidates, one of many states where farmers are facing rising prices amid the ongoing war in Iran. Trial underway over whether the state could have done something to stop the 2015 death of an infant thrown from the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. Tony Moreno was convicted of murder in the death of his son back in 2015. And layoffs at Stanley Black & Decker in New Britain have begun to take effect as the company cites a lack of tape measures it made at the facility, which is closing. WTIC News Time coming up on 2:32. Bob Cox has the forecast.
It's going to remain warm and breezy out there this afternoon. The high getting up to around 80 in Hartford. Southwest wind at 12 to 25 miles an hour, gusting up to 35 to 40 miles an hour at times. And sunset will be this evening at 7:54. Clouds increase tonight with lows in the 50s. Wednesday will be mostly cloudy. We'll see some showers developing during the day tomorrow. Highs 65 to 70. Some showers at times tomorrow night with lows in the upper 40s. And then a mix of sun and clouds for Thursday and Friday. Highs both days in the low to mid 60s. We'll see some more showers moving into the state during the day Saturday. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, it's sunny and 80 right now in Hartford. Dow's up 359 points. NASDAQ's ahead 274, and the S&P's up 66. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This Cinco de Mayo weekend, let's keep our community safe from drunk driving. If you celebrate a little too much, use a rideshare or designated driver. Amigos, don't let amigos drive drunk. Think before you drink. From your friends at Carter Mario Injury Lawyers.
Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment was thou shalt not speak ill of another Republican, a political rule established in the 1960s to foster party unity by discouraging public infighting. On May 7th, WTIC NewsTalk 1080 will host the 11th commandment Republican gubernatorial debate with candidates vying for the Republican nomination at the private event room at Stadium 15 in Farmington. The debate will be live on the air, but if you'd like to be in the audience, listen to Brian and Company every morning and Reese on the radio every afternoon for your chance to win a pair of tickets. WTIC NewsTalk 1080's 11th Commandment Republican Gubernatorial Debate is sponsored by AARP Connecticut.
Join the Hartford Symphony Orchestra May 8th through the 10th for Mozart and Mendelssohn at the Bushnell in Hartford. Under the direction of music director Carolyn Kwan, the concert begins with Anna Klein's vibrant Color Field, a contemporary tribute inspired by abstract art. Then you'll be captivated by HSO's principal clarinetist Sang-Wan Lee, performing Mozart's Clarinet Concerto. Our musical journey concludes in the majestic landscapes of Scotland with Mendelssohn's Scottish Symphony. For tickets, call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal. Book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. 800-LifeLock. 1-800-LifeLock or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years.
I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Mother's Day, celebrate her with something truly special. At P.F. Chang's, enjoy a 5-course celebration experience starting at just $89.99. Featuring premium entrees like New York prime strip steak tataki, oolong Chilean sea bass, and lobster and prawn fried rice, plus the bold signature flavors she loves. It's more than a meal. It's a celebration made just for her. Reserve your table now and make Mother's Day unforgettable. Only at P.F. Chang's. Available when you dine in for a limited time only at participating locations. Offer may vary.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
Hey, we're back. It's Reese on the radio. Thank you so much, Melody. I really appreciate that. Lori says, one of my neighbors complained about the country while their guy, Biden, was in the Oval. They don't see the connection between his politics as a contributor to their angst. They don't say anything now, but I know by little comments that they were anti-Trump. As a matter of fact, my granddaughter told my neighbor that she wasn't going to visit her dad's mom in Long Island because she talks about hating Trump. That prompted my neighbor to call me and ask, are we okay because we like Joe Biden? I was like, my response, I don't care who you voted for. It could be Attila the Hun for all I care. I feel the same way about people voting. I've told people when they talk to me, and it's weird the way they do. They constantly say to me, and if they're liberal, they always go, I'm a liberal, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care. And I don't know who raised them to think that they have to sort of a preamble to their conversation. It's like, I didn't vote for Trump. I was like, I don't care. Like, make your point. Like, what's your point? That's what I'm in. I'm interested in your point of view, not who you voted for. That is your right. You don't like the guy I voted for? Cool. What's your point? Ideologically, want to hear what you have to say. It was like, well, I kind of look at it different than you do. Yes, hence why I'm asking. Yes, you see it differently than I do. And I have to explain to people why I'm probing them on the question. Help me understand why you see it differently from me, Not so I can certify what I believe, right? Not so I can sort of have some justification in my point of view. So I'm uniquely interested in what you think. I think it has value. Whether or not it has value to me and what I think, no. But I think what you think has value. I see your point of view as having value. I said that with everybody. Your point of view means something to me, hence why I asked for it. You don't have to give me all the other things about, say, I was going to vote for him, and then I thought about it, with the Hillary Clinton thing. I was like, chill. What do you think? It's okay. It's the same thing that people do with me. It's just like, I know people from this community. So what? What do you think? Are you trying to tell me that now, because you know somebody from this community or you know something about this, that you have this, I don't know, but firmer grasp on the subject? I don't believe that. Tell me what you think. Now, I used to be the type of person to say, hey, tell me what you think so I could poke holes in it. I was very energized in that. But now I'm genuinely interested. I'm a very, very curious person in that way. And I like what people think. It tells me their frame of thought. This will sound crazy to you, but if there's a litmus test that I have, it really works this way. So I will take a general thing in the news. Like, let's take Mike Vrabel, right? The coach of the New England Patriots and the cheating scandal, right? And I will talk to them just flippantly about that. I was like, oh, man, that's screwed up. Like, you'll see him on TV and be like, oh, man, that was screwed up what happened to him and that lady from the Atlantic. I said, did you see that story? And the person would then respond, and based on their response, I'll know their character. Like what they will tolerate or how they view that story. So if the guy says, yeah, man, you got to be careful of those cameras. Why? You never know who's watching you. Okay, he's a paranoid type. That might be good. Or he's an avid cheater and he looks over his shoulder when he's cheating on his wife. I can surmise that. Now, if I see that and I think about his moral character, I might probe a little more. I go, oh, that's an interesting take on that. What do you mean? And of course, because people are eager to talk, they start telling you, and you start, okay, that's interesting. Oh, wow, okay. And then you find out the type of person that they are. Okay, this person likes secrets. If you listen to another person who starts, yammering off about people at work or people in their neighborhood, telling intimate details about them, gossip, tell them nothing. It's true. This is what I do when I meet people. I'm incredibly fascinated. And people often look at me and it's like, wow, you seem to be really, really interested in who I am. I got to find out if you're a snake or not. I'm sorry, but it's just me. And all of the rest of you who are my buddies, I hope now I've not deterred you in some way. It's like, got to be careful around Reese. And I totally appreciate it if you like that. But as I said, I talk to people. I listen to how they engage, how they view the world. Not so much that I can disagree with them or know that I can't be friends with them. They might be able to give an opinion that I've never thought of, have a perspective I'd not really considered. It's like, wow, that guy's really, really smart and intuitive. I didn't think that. I get caught in my own little box, and this guy sort of brought me out of it, broadened my horizons. I like that. So liberals, you can, believe it or not, you can do that. Give it a chance. You don't have to be friends with all of us. You don't have to be friends with any of us for that matter, but you should engage. It's important for you. It's enlightening. Back to my list. The Great Connecticut Exodus was the last place I was. Number 4, businesses. Flights, the business flight out of the state, killing jobs. Also killing the tax revenue. When those businesses leave, your taxes go up. Right? Talk to them about that. Hey, man, Duracell left. Hey, man, Lego left. It's becoming harder and harder to find a job. My kid, he lives up here, and he's just about to get out of, Connecticut State. I'm like, it's going to be difficult for him to find a job with all these companies that are leaving. What do you do? What have your kids done? You have any grandkids that live in the state? Talk to them. Find out what they think about this thing. Yeah, man, this is a mess. The governor's got to find a way to keep people here. Or you might find out, yeah, more businesses are leaving, or you hate those billionaires. Ugh. Get away from that guy. The housing crisis made worse. Lamont vetoed another major YIMBY House bill with, remember that, 5002 in 2025, siding with suburban towns over the supply side. He ended up going back on that. School construction corruption. Of course, we have to talk about Costa Diamantis. Pronouncing his name horribly. That conversation has to be held. I don't know how many people come to me and says, how is that not sticking to the governor? How has he been able to escape that? Part and parcel? The usual suspects. Billions spent on schools, same dismal results. Ask some of your friends and neighbors. They're not all wealthy. Some of them are middle ground, middle of the road folks. Their kids go to struggling and failing schools. Every day you see more and more money being poured into the school, especially around election day or around election years. What do you get as a result? Nothing. More failing grades. You don't think the liberals care about that? Of course they do. You got to start engaging them. This guy's spending a lot of money, but getting nothing for it. You don't even have to ask them and say, you can even lie. Look, I'm a liberal, but I don't know if I can take this anymore. I thought it was bad under Malloy, but I don't think I can take a third term of this guy. I feel like we got to go another way. Start finding out what that argument is that they're going to make for the governor. Well, give him one more chance. I doubt that's going to be the reaction. Urban crime that never went away. That, don't even get me started. It says, while the 2025 year saw statewide declines, violent crime and property crime in core Democrat cities stayed high for many years, and they continue to stay high. In fact, I just read a report this morning about an uptick in stolen vehicles. It's got to mean something, especially in Democrat-run cities. Now that we have the governor talking about parole for people as old as 25 years old, when it used to be 21 and under, now it's going up to 26 and under, or under 26. They already have people trying to pass bills where 14-year-olds can't get handcuffed no matter what the crime is. Democrats have to care about that. And for all of their tolerance, I'm sure they don't like any of that. Auto insurance rates. That can't be good. Overregulation strangling small business and family farms. Ask them whether or not they have family members who have started a business who have been overregulated or had to close down recently or struggling to get by. I know you really think that your Democrat neighbors are these people you see at the protests. Some of these deranged lunatics that you see with the blue and green hair. They're not. They're very average, middle-of-the-road folks who care about the same things that you do. Those are the people you have to start considering. I'm going to post the rest of this list because when we come back, well, I'll talk a little bit about it again when we come back, or at least some of the other things on here. But there are 20 of these that you need to talk to your neighbors about. And I already truly believe that Lamont's got no shot of winning re-election anyway. And again, this list is short compared to the stuff that I had. We don't even get into the petty stuff yet. I got 20 hardcore, reasonable things that Democrats cannot vote for. Democrats. This list is compiled based on Democrats. On the reasons why they can't re-elect him. There's no conservative values in here at all. So we'll talk about that. We'll be back. More news, more views. I'll read some more of your comments in the chat room. Go to reeseontheradio.com for more. Or if you want to opine, you can do it right there. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait. And don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When kitchen plans hit a setback, having the right partner makes all the difference. At Dean Cabinetry, our family-owned business brings over 25 years of experience to every project, helping homeowners navigate every step of a kitchen remodel. If you already have cabinet plans, we'll work with you to match your design and budget, often with higher quality at a competitive price, without starting over. Dean Cabinetry, your kitchen cabinet partners from start to finish.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Couple of these that people will probably shove off would be the child care and health care costs being sky high. The only people who would be concerned about that are people in the inner city. But if you know people in the inner city, you got to ask them about it. This one's right in Mark from West Hartford's alley. I mean, this one, I teed this up perfectly for him. Ethics hypocrisy on the governor's in the governor's own family dealings. Related question about the governor's wife. Her venture capital investment, past no-bid contracts tied to administration have gone largely unanswered by Democrat leaders. It reeks of rules for thee and not for me. A culture that turns off even loyal party voters. And that's something that can be pressed. And it should be. It should be asked, are you okay with this? This is the thing. In fact, What's the thing that they're out protesting when they go to these No Kings protests? Self-dealing. They say that Donald Trump is using the presidency to enrich himself. Well, it's got to matter here at home, doesn't it? Or is that just small ball? I don't think it is. And I know they don't. Lamont is bucking Connecticut's informal two-term norm to seek a third term, even as polls show significant portions of voters, including Democrats, wish he would step aside. It looks like careerism over fresh leadership. Now, there's a great window right off the bat. I talked to somebody, won't say their name. They would hate it if I did. That many believe and actually are a little baffled and saying he should have allowed a fresh slate. Should have allowed some new people in there. We may have gotten William Tong running. Yeah, we would have gotten William Tong running without a doubt. And I would be all for it. I would be all for that ticket. Boy, would I. William Tong would be easy. Well, this is kind of easy too. But that's just a few. Let me see if there's any more I can go. Yeah, here we go. The slow bleed of the middle class. Combine high taxes, high energy, high housing, and stagnant wage growth. Without, of course, dimension of the minimum wage. But stagnant wage growth relative to cost. And you get a state where the very people Democrats say that they represent, teachers, nurses, tradespeople, retail workers, they're quietly deciding that they can't afford to stay, can't afford to keep voting for the same failed model. And I'm telling you, that is for real. There are these people who I talk to all the time, especially on the left, and I'm talking about diehard leftists, who say to me that the machine, that's it. It is the machine. Democrats are going to win. Democrats are going to win. They've suggested you don't even exist. And I'm talking to you on the left. I'm talking to liberals. They already think you don't exist. And if you do, and you are fatigued by this administration or by what's being done on your behalf, so-called on your behalf, you can't stop it. The supermajority is here to stay. Connecticut is and always will remain blue, and we're just going to do whatever we can to you. And you don't need my word. Look at every one of the bills that are going through. People are looking at this going, this stuff is insane. Even people on the left. And they talk to me all the time. They go, here's the Democrats again, overplaying their hand. They're going to get all of their friends and their lobbyists pipe dreams to come true in the state of Connecticut until it's unsustainable. And they're going to keep using the idea that you won't vote Republican because it may be attached to Trump. Okay. I keep asking myself, like, how much of the Trump nonsense are you going to let bleed you dry? How much of the Trump excuse are you going to allow into your lives that you will not make a change in the state? Like, if that's going to be your excuse while you continue to lose money and jobs and opportunity and have your taxes raised over and over and over again, and your excuse is, well, at least it's to destroy Trump. I've never seen that kind of ridiculous sacrifice ever. I've never seen it. This is the old adage, drinking the poison, expecting it to harm your enemies. That's what this is, in a nutshell. You're going to continue to vote for the demise of the state because you think you're sticking it to MAGA folks. No one believes that. And I know that you don't. I'm just wondering, at what point does it become unsustainable? And I think we're there. And I think we're going to see it in November. So let's get to some news. Top of the hour is coming up with John Silva. He's in the WTIC newsroom. We'll be back at Reese on the radio.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080. This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
3 o'clock Hartford temperature 79 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. 2 are dead and 3 are wounded in a mall shooting north of Dallas, the Koreatown section of Carrollton. The suspect, identified as Sung Han Ho, was apprehended following a brief chase. This is Carrollton Police Chief Roberto Arredondo.
Our undercover officers, using our police technology, were able to find the suspect's vehicle and determine the current location. Upon their arrival, they identified him. A short foot pursuit took place, and he was taken into custody without incident.
The chief says the suspect and the victims were meeting for business purposes when the shooting broke out. A civil trial is underway that will determine if the Department of Children and Families bears some responsibility in the death of a 7-month-old baby over a decade ago. It was July of 2015 when Tony Moreno threw his little boy Aiden off the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown before jumping himself. Moreno survived, but Aiden was killed. The suit argues DCF failed to protect Aiden despite repeated warnings he was in danger. Moreno is doing 70 years for murder and risk of injury. Trial could last up to 5 days. State lawmakers are in their final 2 days of work at the Capitol before the end of this short session. House Democratic leaders say a Senate bill passed expanding parole eligibility for those who create crimes at a young age will not come up for a vote. They're not sure they have the votes to pass it. Democratic State Representative Steve Staffstrom, co-chair of the Judiciary Committee, says he would have voted in favor.
When that person is 52, if they can show they're a completely different person, why shouldn't we give them the opportunity to apply for parole? Nobody's saying they're going to get out of jail necessarily, but at least have the opportunity to apply for it.
But some Democrats were opposed and Republicans were aligned against it. Separately, the House will consider a bill that aims to merge and strengthen the state's various laws against hate crimes. New Haven Mayor Justin Elicker swore in the city's new police chief today.
Perform the duties of police chief.
Perform the duties of police chief.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
And according to law.
According to law.
And that I will at all times.
That I will at all times.
Strive to use the power.
Strive to use the power.
Entrusted to me.
Entrusted to me.
As such officer.
As such officer.
For the best interests of the city.
For the best interests of the city.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Assistant Chief David Zanelli ascended to the top spot following the resignation last winter of former Chief Carl Jacobson. He was arrested for allegedly stealing money from police accounts to feed a gambling habit. Zanelli stressed he and his officers must earn back the trust of the community they serve.
But policing is not only about enforcement. It's about relationships. We cannot succeed without the trust of the community we serve. Trust is not built through words alone. It is built through consistency, transparency, and engagement.
Elicker says his choice of Zanelli to lead the department was based on the new chief's experience, 18 years on the job, knowledge, and respect of officers and community leaders. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says the ceasefire remains in place with Iran, this despite the U.S. guiding ships through the Strait of Hormuz with a lot of military might, and President Trump repeated that Iran was this close to having a nuclear weapon. Stacey Lynn reports.
The president reiterated just how close Iran was to having a nuclear weapon.
Maybe we wouldn't all be here right now. I can tell you the Middle East would have been gone. Israel would have been gone.
And then Europe and the U.S.
Because they're sick people.
He says we're not going to let lunatics have a nuclear weapon.
The power of a nuclear weapon is something I don't even want to talk about. It's not going to happen.
And the group dubbed the world's greatest rock and roll band getting to release yet another new album. Matt Wallace reports.
1, 2, 3, and... It's called Foreign Tongues, the Rolling Stones' 25th studio album set to hit July 10th. The follow-up to their Grammy-winning album, Hackneyed Diamonds. 2 tracks already out, including In the Stars. The band's re-teaming with producer Andrew Watt. The Stones say there will be a performance from their late drummer Charlie Watts from one of his last recording sessions. Other guests on the album include Paul McCartney and Steve Winwood. Matt Wolf, CBS News.
WTIC News time is 3:04. From the WTIC 24-hour traffic network, do have a crash out here on 91 southbound side between exits 24 and 23. 3 vehicles should be off on the shoulder, but might be a little slow getting by that. Here's the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
Quite a windy afternoon and warm. We will continue that theme with temperatures above average overnight. Increasing clouds, the low temperature 53 and cooler with a couple of showers tomorrow up to 66 degrees. Those showers will end early tomorrow evening, then cloudy, the low temperature 48. Breezy with a mix of sun and clouds on Thursday up to 65. Mostly cloudy Thursday night down to 43 degrees. Partly sunny breezy on Friday up to 62. Increasing clouds Friday night down to 44 degrees. And finally, a couple of showers in here, unfortunately, at the expense of the weekend on Saturday, that is, with a high of 59. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's up 367 points. The NASDAQ's ahead 276, and the S&P is up 67. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. It's 3:06. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
If you're carrying a lot of credit card or personal loan debt, every month can start to feel the same. All those bills, all those due dates, all that stress. There's a solution that's designed to make it easier for you. National Debt Relief could put you on the fast track to paying off your credit card debt, personal loans, and even medical debt for less than you owe, with just one low monthly payment you can afford. And no, it's not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. It's a real, affordable debt relief program that could save you lots of money. National Debt Relief has already helped over 1 million people with their debt and has thousands of 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. So if you owe $10,000 or more, don't wait. Call 800-300-4411 now to see if you qualify. That's 800-300-4411. One call could help reduce what you owe and simplify your monthly payments. Call 800-300-4411 now to find out how much you could save.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. Do I still have this thing up? I didn't even realize that was there. Okay. Anyway. William Tong. This guy is an interesting dude. And I wouldn't bring this up if the guy weren't a lawyer. I'm almost forced to bring this up because he is the Attorney General of the state of Connecticut, which implies he's an attorney, knows the law, understands the law, took an oath of office when he became the Attorney General. He knows the drill. And, or at least I would assume he does. But I've already got my point of view on this, which I will express. There's a part of me that wants to express that first. And you know what? I will. I'll follow my instincts here. William Tong thinks you're stupid. I know he does. He has to. Because the alternative to my theory is he is. And there's no way. Look, again, I do not have a law degree. But I have watched episodes of Law & Order long enough to know that everything that came out of his mouth yesterday was bad. It's not even a misrepresentation of the law. It's all out fallacy. So only two things can exist. He thinks you're stupid, or he is. Now, did anybody get this video? Because it's gone everywhere. Blaze picked it up. Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch picked it up. A lot of people are talking about it. It is insanity for an attorney general to make the claims he did in front of all those people, which again begs the question. Either you're stupid or he is.
We are sovereign in this state. This is the sovereign state of Connecticut. That is why we have a state Supreme Court. That is why we have state laws. That's why we have a capital. That's why we have a legislature, a governor, an attorney general, constitutional officers, because Connecticut gets to decide how Connecticut wants to live. And we get to pass laws to reflect our values and how we want to live, and we get to pass laws to keep our people safe. That is an unremarkable proposition of constitutional law. It is called the police power. It has been around for 250 years, and even before that. It is a power that states have as sovereigns. We are joined together by our consent in a federation known as the United States of America, right? A federation of 50 sovereign states. And we have never, ever, ever delegated to the federal government the right to hurt people in our state.
Okay, everybody, come on, put on your Law and Order thinking caps. Is Connecticut a sovereign state? Short answer, no. And the Attorney General of Connecticut should know that. The United States is not a loose confederation of fully sovereign states. Article 6, Clause 2, the Supremacy Clause. It makes the Constitution, federal laws made pursuant to it, and treaties the supreme law of the land, binding on every state judge anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. The 10th Amendment reserves to the states only powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution. Immigration enforcement and the conduct of federal officers executing federal immigration statutes are delegated powers. Article 1, Section 8, Naturalization Clause, plus the inherent foreign affairs power. States have no reserved power to micromanage or obstruct federal agents in the performance of these duties. Federal officers acting under color of federal law are not subject to state licensing, dress codes, or protected area restrictions. Attempts to impose them are preempted. Courts have repeatedly struck down any analogous state efforts to regulate or impede federal law enforcement. Tong's phrasing treats Connecticut as if it were an independent sovereign nation that merely hosts federal agents. That is not the constitutional structure. He knows that, and I looked it up like that. Just to make sure. As soon as I heard it, I went, when is Connecticut sovereign? Now, the thing that triggered me, I got to tell you this, folks, this is the thing that triggered me. Maybe some of you have never heard this before. Some of you will have, and especially my black audience. You'll know this, all 6 of you. You'll know. I'm teasing. Black folks will know this one. Some of you who are not ever experienced this in the hood, you might be unfamiliar with this. In fact, you may have seen stories like this in the news here and there. But there are a group of people in the African American community who have made arguments that they are sovereign people, right? That they are not a part of the United States, that they themselves are sovereign. And I've heard this since I was a teenager, maybe even earlier. People who are making this argument. It says, see, he says here in the Constitution that you can be sovereign and you can immediately excommunicate yourself from the United States and you are not a member of it. You are your own land. I used to laugh every time I used to hear it, and I just go, well, technically, if you are your own sovereign land in the United States, aren't you trespassing? Now, like, if you're sovereign and you're here, this is sovereign land. You can't be a sovereign land inside of a sovereign land, because that would be like illegal entry, right? You would have to be forced to leave if indeed this were true, right? You'd be violating the whole sovereign thing, right? But yeah, but that's essentially what William Tong is arguing here, is that we are Connecticut unto itself. And, you know, we cooperate with the United States, but at our behest, right? The federal government, you know, they need our consent to follow their rules and their laws. Which brings me back to my point. Either he thinks you're stupid or he is. What say you? I'm just asking. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Let's go further. He says, we are joined together by our consent in a federation known as the United States. This is the compact theory in the purest form, and it has been rejected by the Supreme Court and by history. The Constitution was ratified by we, the people of the United States, not by states as sovereign entities entering a treaty. Once ratified, the Union became perpetual and indestructible. This was ratified through Texas v. White in 1869. States cannot unilaterally withdraw consent from federal authority in delegated fields. In essence, we can't pick and choose. The same theory was used by South Carolina in 1832, the nullification crisis, and by the Confederacy in 1861, and it was defeated on the battlefield and then repudiated by the Supreme Court. No serious constitutional scholar or court today treats the United States as a voluntary association by any state that can partially opt out by passing conflicting statutes. Tong's consent language implies Connecticut can simply declare federal ICE operations illegitimate within its borders. That is exactly the logic that produced the Civil War. And he knows that. Or maybe not. Again, back to my point. Either he's stupid or he thinks you are. I'm baffled by the fact that there were all of these media folks there and not one of them said, huh? No one brought it up. There is no article written today that is challenging the Attorney General and the statement that he made. The only thing I could see was, in fact, hold on, I'll get the headline here because it was interesting to me. I laughed at it as soon as I saw it. Lamont signs ICE law on courthouse steps, defying the Trump administration. There's no evidence of that in this law. Nothing he signed defied the Trump administration. It didn't even create a roadblock. According to the law that he signed, it's going to hinder the state and local police. They're the ones who are going to be charged with a misdemeanor if they approach a suspected target while wearing a mask. Or if they get into a confrontation with a bystander filming them while they apprehend an individual. It actually put handcuffs, yes, pun intended, on the very police that patrol the state. And they framed it as something that was going to hinder federal agents. Who's going to be the officer that enforces it? I got a text message from Ruddy. Ruddy says, if you think that Governor Lamont's going to tell me to put handcuffs on a federal officer, he better pound sand. Who's going to be the officer that sees the ICE agent wearing a mask and he's going to walk up to him and say, hey, sorry, guy, yeah, you're going to have to pull that down. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Who's he talking about? All of this stuff is insane. He also implied the operational claim because Connecticut is sovereign. It can ban ice masks, create protected zones, and sue federal agents under state law. All of those statements are false. Federal immigration laws occupies the field. The state statute that tells federal agents they may not wear protective masks while executing federal warrants, or they may not make arrests in churches, schools without an additional state judicial warrant, directly conflicts with the federal authority and is void under the Supremacy Clause. Now that part I know he thinks you're stupid about. And the dumbest part about his claim is the complicit media, who knows damn well they should write that in their articles or have it in their news reports. That what William Tong and what Governor Ned Lamont is talking about is absolute bat-ish crazy. It does nothing. The only authority they can exert is on their own officers. And yet no one reported on it. They reported on the alleged efforts to stop federal agents. I mean, okay, let's just put it this way. The media flat out lied to you. They took every talking point from this press conference yesterday and ignored what it really does. They told you that they signed a bill to stop federal agents from wearing masks and stop federal agents from going into churches and schools. They told you that that law was signed, but not one of them told you that none of that is possible, that it is a feckless, toothless bill. And the people that actually hinders, they ignored those people. They actually didn't report on the fact that the officers who serve this great state, those are the ones who are going to end up being penalized and charged with misdemeanors. That's right. The same governor who a little more than a month ago was down at the Hartford Public Safety Building, was down there talking about, we're going to sign a bill called the Police Officer and Firefighter Retention and Retention and Retirement? I don't know what it is, whatever. That bill, Retention and Recruitment Bill, that's what it was. Yeah, because we need more officers. And the very people who risk their lives, we need to make sure that they want to become police officers and they stay police officers. And then says, yeah, but if you violate somebody's civil rights or we suspect that you're in trouble, we're going to get the IG involved. We're going to get internal affairs involved. You tell somebody filming you to step back because they're impeding your arrest, you can still be brought under investigation. That's the bill he signed. And the complicit media turned around and said, no, this is about federal agents. But guess what? You know what that means? That means when federal agents come rolling through Newington, when federal agents go rolling through New Haven, when federal agents go rolling through Danbury, and every one of the idiots who watch that news conference are baffled at the way that ICE can still come into the neighborhood and still haul off these illegals with their masks on, they'll be going, wait, I thought they signed a law. And then they'll call their local representative, hey, I thought they weren't allowed to do that. Yeah, about that. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And no one prepared you for it. They did all the pageantry. They spread the story everywhere, far and wide. Breaking news. Exciting news at the Capitol. Federal ICE agents are going to put under wraps due to this Lamont administration. Applaud him. And federal agents will just go, yeah, we saw that. That was funny. Come over here, Manuel. That's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be ignored. And people are going to see it. It's going to be everywhere. The news media won't report it because they can't now. They cannot now. And when they do, what are they going to do? They're going to further the lie? in spite of Governor Lamont championing the new law that stops ICE agents from wearing masks and going into churches and schools, ICE agents are defying him and doing it anyway. Instead of saying it was feckless. They're never going to say a word about it. And they get mad at me. Why? For bringing it up. Do your jobs. This, it is the best way to put this. The media in this town has to stop treating it like it's a party. That's the thing. You see, when I get a press release, when a press release shows up and says that one of these yahoos are going to be holding an event, I jump out of bed. Who's going to be where? Okay. Set up my questions. All right, Roseanne, got to go. Mwah, kiss you, baby. Bye. These people get a press conference, get an alert on a press conference. Hey, who's going to be there? What do you think she's wearing? They think it's a red carpet event. If you've been to any of them, and trust me, I really do believe it. If you have the time to, go down to one of these press releases where they're having a press conference, go down there. Ask yourself this question. How many reporters are there versus the cameras? If you got 4 cameras, you should see 4 reporters. If you don't, they're just getting B-roll. Because for them, it's like going to the Oscars or the Emmys. Yeah, get me B-roll. We'll report from the station. And that's what it is. And they'll claim all that stuff about it's budget cuts and we don't have enough reporters to go around. Ask yourself where the reporters are today. I know where they are. Some of them are playing golf. Yep. And I know where. For a lot of these folks, it's nothing more than like it's going to the Emmys with these people. It's no real reporting. That's why William Tong could do this. But I still ask the question. And we'll answer that when we get back. So stand by on the phones. 860-522-WTIC. 860-522-9842. Is William Tong stupid or does he think you are? We'll play the clip when we get back as well. So stand by for that as well. I'm saying that again. All right. It's Reese on the radio. NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Brian Shackman here for Serta Pro Painters. I don't know about you, but a fresh coat of paint makes me feel good. That's why you might want to get in touch with the folks at Serta Pro Painters. And now is a good time. Ask about their spring sales event. That's 10% off qualifying projects through May the 15th. And they can do inside, they can do outside. They did our kitchen. Man, they were timely, they were clean, and they were so respectful to everybody in our family. Serta Pro Painters, by the way, independently owned and operated right here in our community. So schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. Again, that's Serta with a C.
Sale ends soon. Don't wait.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Morgan & Morgan isn't just an injury firm. It's our family's life work. It's my husband, it's my sons, it's me. When we take a case, we see a family just like ours. $30 billion recovered is something I'm proud of. But what I'm really proud of are the families we stood beside. It's an honor to fight for you when you need our support the most. Morgan & Morgan, for the people and your family.
Herbie Fisher. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Brian Shackman here for Allaire Elder Law. Listen, my wife and I, we have no plans for the next phase of our life, and we were freaked out. And you know what? I had interviewed attorney Haley Allaire before. I just said to my wife, let's sit down with her and her team and see how it goes. And, you know, whether you need estate planning, power of attorney, wills, trust, probate, whatever it was, we sat down, we went over our options, and we had this collective exhale that immediately made us feel better. You want to feel that and be prepared for your future? AllaireElderlaw.com. Again, ALLAIRE elderlaw.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTRCM.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 3:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Sunny skies, 80 degrees. We'll have the forecast details coming up. A shooting in the city of Carrollton, Texas, leaves 2 dead and 3 wounded.
Police say the shooting at Carrollton's K-Town Plaza was not a random act of gunfire and that the victims knew the suspect. The attacker was later arrested after a short foot chase. The FBI and other federal agents are investigating at the scene.
That's correspondent Allison Keyes. There is a civil trial taking place in Waterbury to determine if the State Department of Children and Families was negligent in the death of a baby boy over a decade ago. In July of 2015, Aiden Moreno was thrown from the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown by his father, Tony Moreno. The elder Moreno jumped from the bridge but lived. He's now serving 70 years in prison on the murder charge. The wrongful death suit argues DCF should be held liable, should have known that the baby was in danger. Very modest gains on the jobs front in March in Connecticut. The Department of Labor reports employers added 100 positions. Unemployment crept up to 4.8%. Labor force did drop by 7,900 in March. GOP State Senate leader Steve Harding calls the numbers paltry and questions where the growth is. U.S. military leaders say a ceasefire with Iran remains in effect a day after Tehran was blamed for new attacks in the Strait of Hormuz and against the United Arab Emirates. The UAE, a key American ally, says it came under attack by Iranian missiles and drones for a second day in a row. State about to begin a major rehab project on the Gold Star Bridge down in southeastern Connecticut. It's going to shift the northbound traffic over to the southbound bridge there on 95 to allow for structural strengthening and bridge deck replacement. The governor and other officials outlining it earlier today during a news conference. And former UConn great Tina Charles is retiring from the WNBA. 37-year-old was drafted number 1 by the Connecticut Sun in 2010. She leaves as the league's second leading scorer behind fellow UConn legend Diana Taurasi. Charles won back-to-back titles with the Huskies in 2009 and in 2010. WTIC News Time 3:32. Here's the forecast.
The warm streak that was underway during the day will continue tonight. Temperatures above average with a low of 57. Clouds on the increase late. That will lead to a couple of showers tomorrow afternoon with a high of 66. Those showers end early tomorrow night, otherwise cloudy down to 48. Breezy with variable cloudiness Thursday up to 65. Mostly cloudy down to 43 Thursday night, and partly sunny on Friday, the high temperature 62. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Life takes unexpected turns, doesn't it? Divorce, the loss of a loved one, a personal injury, losing your job. Suddenly you're searching for someone new you can trust to guide you through. But what if you didn't have to start over? What if your legal team already understood you? At BPS Lawyers, we're more than just lawyers. We're a full-service law firm that's been part of this community since 1977. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Visit bpslawyers.com or call 860-CALL-BPS. Nick Painderis is responsible for the content of this ad.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
Lyft is partnering with United Airlines, giving riders the option of using their United Mileage Plus miles directly in the Lyft app for rides. In a move to set itself apart in the increasingly competitive rideshare industry with Uber and robo-taxi companies Waymo and Tesla, Lyft says it's the first time a U.S. airline loyalty program and rideshare platform have offered direct mile-to-ride redemption. I'm Jason Brooks.
In today's fast-moving job market, staying ahead means keeping your skills sharp. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we help keep your capabilities cutting edge with our skills-based education programs designed to move your career forward. Explore more than 135 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, and more. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Brian Jackman here for Serta Pro Painters. It's time. We're about to go to springtime, and the spring sales event could get you 10% off qualifying projects through May the 15th. And Serta Pro, those folks are awesome. They're independently owned and operated right here in our community. They did my kitchen. They were there on time. The estimate was excellent, and they did, by the way, a great job. Serta Pro Painters. Schedule your free estimate online at certapro.com. That's Serta with a C.
Sale ends soon. Don't wait.
Are you looking for a podcast about pro football that doesn't put you to sleep with an avalanche of analytics or insult your fandom with brainless hot takes? Well, hi. I'm Dan Hansis.
And I'm Mark Sessler.
Oh, hi, Mark. And we're the hosts of Heed the Call, the NFL podcast you've been waiting your whole life for.
Heed the Call covers every game, every storyline, everything that matters, and we do it all with a touch of mirth.
Football is fun. Why shouldn't your football podcast be the same?
Follow and listen to Heed the Call NFL podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying, where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combination therapies that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and to the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. Northeast Men's Health, advanced medical science to empower male performance.
Join the Hartford Symphony Orchestra May 8th through the 10th for Mozart and Mendelssohn at the Bushnell in Hartford. Under the direction of music director Carolyn Kwan, the concert begins with Anna Klein's vibrant Color Field, a contemporary tribute inspired by abstract art. Then you'll be captivated by HSO's principal clarinetist Sang-Won Lee, performing Mozart's Clarinet Concerto. Our musical journey concludes in the majestic landscapes of Scotland with Mendelssohn's Scottish Symphony. For tickets, call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Hey, he's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio. Right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. William, we'll get into Black Lives Matter 860 later on in the program after we talk to Betsy, McCaughey, and Ryan Fazio. I know the story was in the Hartford Courant about Erin Stewart and Black Lives Matter 860. Black Lives Matter 860 was online talking about how they went to Erin Stewart's headquarters, and when they got there, they were asked, this is according to them, so I don't know about any other reporting, but according to them, on their X page, they say that they were escorted out or told to leave by Ben Proto. So apparently Ben Proto was at the Erin Stewart headquarters. So, yeah, I'll talk about that in the Hartford Courant's article, as well as Erin Stewart's complaint about what they posted and Black Lives Matter 860's response to her outrage about it. So stand by for that. Also, if I haven't said this before, I'll say it again. I don't promote it enough. Please go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. I worked so hard on it this weekend. It's got so many features on there. I'm writing a memoir. There's an excerpt there on it at the bottom of the website. Also, the original music that you've heard here right on Reese on the Radio, known as Topical Tunes, all of those songs are available there as well. So if you want to listen to them, you can listen to them. If you have a favorite, please go there and listen to it. And, of course, this very program, the YouTube version of it, as well as the audio version of the show is there as well. So, and, of course, you can write us a note. We prefer that you do if you have something you want to share. If you have someone you want to be on the show, please go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com, go to the comments section and fill it out. The website is there for you to do all of those things. Listen to the music, listen to the show, watch the show live. All of that stuff is available right there at ReeseOnTheRadio.com, and that is REESE on the radio.com. I don't understand you people who spell my name with a C. Reese, as in peanut butter cups, Reese's Pieces. It's not like you don't go every year and buy Halloween candy with the name Reese's on it. Okay? Yes, it's the same way, same spell. REESE, ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Okay? To go there. Let's get to the phones. Let's go to Charlene first. She's on line 3. Hello, Charlene. Oh, wait a minute, Charlene. My fault. I didn't turn you on. Hello, Charlene. How are you?
Fine, Reese. I love your show.
Thank you.
You're just so informed, and you're informing the masses. It's great.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I work really hard at it. Thank you for noticing. What do you got for me, Charlene?
Well, I was listening to you talking about what William Tong had, the statement that he had come out with.
Yes.
And now I might have missed it because I had to run into the bank, so I discussed it. But I think it was part of toward the end,
mm-hmm.
and he was talking about that we've never, the state of Connecticut has never given up our sovereign rights to the federal government.
Yes. If you want me to, right? I can play it to the last part for you so you can hear it again. Would you like that?
Yeah, that would be great.
Here you go.
We are sovereign in this state. This is the sovereign state of Connecticut. That is why we have a state Supreme Court. That is why we have state laws. That's why we have a capital. That's why we have a legislature, a governor, an attorney general, constitutional officers, because Connecticut gets to decide how Connecticut wants to live. And we get to pass laws to reflect our values and how we want to live, and we get to pass laws to keep our people safe. That is an unremarkable proposition of constitutional law. It is called the police power. It has been around for 250 years, and even before that. It is a power that states have as sovereigns. We are joined together by our consent in a federation known as the United States of America.
So that's where he's saying that we are. In essence, we can pick and choose when we are a part of the United States of America. We are our own sovereign land.
Now, wasn't there one more sentence, though, where he said we've never given up the Connecticut citizens or
Let me play the rest. Hold on.
Right? A federation of 50 sovereign states. And we have never, ever, ever delegated to the federal government the right to hurt people in our state.
Yeah, so he's saying, and I think that what he's saying here is we've never delegated the right to the federal government to hurt people in our state, meaning to pick people up in Connecticut who are here illegally. That's the point he's making.
Okay, but the first thing that came to my mind when you read that was, I'm going, wait a minute. What about the Internal Revenue Service? I mean, if that hasn't hurt every resident of the state of Connecticut, I don't know what has.
And there's a lot of things in which that the federal government has been allowed to do. Yeah, and I think a fair point is an audit. That doesn't come from the state. That comes from the federal government.
Yes, exactly. And then there is a question about whether that all got passed legitimately. I know it's debated.
Well, it's not even, here's the thing, and it's sort of the baked-in law that, as I was rightly arguing, is that the news media knows, and they don't have to ask permission to write this. They know it's true. The Supremacy Clause completely eliminates every part of this law as it pertains to federal agents. They are doing the duty of the federal government. What they are ignoring on purpose is exactly who this affects, which in essence, what part of the law has teeth and which does not. The federal government, no teeth. The local and state government, meaning, or the police for that matter, it has all the teeth there. And the examples are crazy. You could pick up somebody. You could be a police officer, regular, flatfoot, seeing a domestic violence issue, and you can go there to go arrest the guy who may be beating on his wife. If a bystander comes in, having no knowledge of what you are pulling or arresting that person for, if they get in your face and start filming you and saying to you, "What's the police doing here? Police brutality, police brutality." Hey, look, get away, get away. And you so much as push them away so that you can, commandeer or remove the threat. If you so much as put your hands on this person who is invading your space, that video will then be brought into internal affairs and every other apparatus that will investigate you. And should they say that you did something to harm that, safe or that individual outside of your duties, that you can be charged with a misdemeanor and you can be sued.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that again, they cannot do anything to federal officers. They know that. Who this actually hurts are the state and local police officers. And the state and local police officers know it. And no one has said a word. Not the media, not William Tong, no one. Not in Republicans, in fact. I haven't heard except for Greg Howard, who expressed it yesterday on the show.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty insane, Charlene. What are you going to do? Charlene, I'm just got to tell you that we were just talking about your name yesterday. Not you in particular, but your name. Yesterday, there are only 2 women who are ever called Charlene. Only 2. And that means that one, and this was exactly what we said, we all knew a Charlene in the hood. When I was growing up, we all knew one Charlene. And the other Charlene is that she was always hot. Do you know which famous singer and actor had the name Charlene on television?
The only Charlene I can think of is Charlene Tilton.
Well, okay. Well, of course, she was gorgeous from Dallas, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
The character in television named Charlene was none other than Janet Jackson in Different Strokes.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember that.
That's
really?
right. Charlene. She was Todd Bridges, Willis's girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah, that was her name, Charlene. I will never forget never forget that name. Thank you, Charlene. I appreciate you.
Hey, Reese, can I mention one more thing?
Real quick.
In the future, can you get on the topic of the appreciation bonds?
Okay. Sure. I can.
Because that's something we're going to probably all be facing.
Okay.
Not a good thing.
Okay. I will definitely get on it.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
You got it. Everett is on the phone. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, not much. Real quick to make it on the light side before we get into this. I haven't been able to find any birthday cards.
Any birthday cards? We need to start inventing them.
My question actually has to do with the responsibilities of the Attorney General. I mean,
whoa.
I always thought that he was supposed to kind of like hold the line for the residents of the state of Connecticut.
Indeed.
I mean, so a scenario where, say, I got to go to court for whatever charge, and I hire an attorney,
mm-hmm.
and I discovered that my attorney ignored a bunch of stuff that he should have informed me before my trial even started.
Correct.
I can go back to the court and ask for another trial, and they can get rid of my lawyer, and I start all over again because my lawyer basically dropped the ball.
Malfeasance.
So isn't that what he did? I mean, you just told me, because, again, I'm a resident of Connecticut, United States citizen. I look to you for my legal guidance because, again, you're the Attorney General. And
That's right.
You misled me intentionally.
That's correct. Because in essence, that's exactly what's going to happen.
You're incompetent. Either way, I don't want you in that office.
Exactly. That's the point I'm bringing up, right? Because there are going to be people in some of these hotbeds of ICE detainment, right? ICE activity, like I mentioned, New Haven, Newington, Danbury. These places are going to still have ICE activity. Bridgeport, of course. When people are standing around who may have watched that press conference are now going to be saying, whoa, William Tong, you just told us that they couldn't do that and they would be brought up on charges. But I talked to the ICE agent. I put up my phone, my camera phone, and these guys laughed at me. And they said that stuff is feckless and it has no teeth. I thought you said, of course, it's a dereliction of duty.
Well, and again, where does it say that his job is to represent undocumented, illegal people?
Nowhere.
So why does somebody who is illegal should not even be in my country, never mind my state? How is it they're taking all this time, money, and energy to basically defeat the people they're supposed to protect?
Isn't it crazy?
They're supposed to protect everybody else.
Mm-hmm. And again, that's the crazy part about what William Tong did on that stage and in front of those microphones. What he said was that he was going to prioritize people who have no right to be here. And he was there to sign that law to protect those who are not supposed to be here. While everyday citizens who need him to represent them, he has decided he is out to lunch on them 24 hours a day.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's just that it's a big giant ball that keeps rolling downhill and getting bigger because, young kids like my grandchildren, they have little to zero opportunity for a minimum wage job because they're taken up by people that shouldn't even be here.
All of that, listen to me, when he runs for re-election, all of that's going to come up. All of it is. And if anybody's worth their salt that goes up against him, they've got to ask him, who do you work for, William Tong? That's the way it's got to be done. Let me take a break, buddy. Thank you, Everett. I appreciate you, man.
Have a great day.
Thank you, man. You too. Let's take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. Ryan Fazio, Betsy McCaughey, they're coming up soon right here on Reese on the Radio.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Penalties and interest are piling up every single day. Wage garnishments and bank levies could hit any moment. If you've been avoiding it out of fear, you're not alone. But waiting only shrinks your options and ramps up the stress. The truth is, the IRS settles with taxpayers every day through legitimate programs, and many qualify to reduce what they owe, in some cases by up to 99%. That's why thousands turn to helpwithirsdebt.com. They've guided over 120,000 Americans, resolved more than $2.3 billion in tax debt, and back every case with their ironclad resolution guarantee. If there's no real path forward, you get a full refund, no fine print. They even randomly select one qualifying client each year and pay off their entire IRS balance. Terms apply. Don't let another day pass. Go to helpwithirsdebt.com right now. It's fast, easy, and confidential. Find out what's possible today. Helpwithirsdebt.com. Once again, that's helpwithirsdebt.com.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code CLEAR to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code CLEAR to borrow up to $10,000. Use code CLEAR to borrow up to $10,000.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Just before we get into the BPS lawyers' traffic and weather, now let me just read this scenario for you. I actually asked for a breakdown for this, and they said this is an example of what all of this is, like what this law does and who it actually affects. So Officer Ramirez arrives and finds a man later identified as having an active warrant for a nonviolent offense, arguing loudly with his girlfriend in a parking lot. The situation is tense, but not yet physical. Ramirez approaches, identifies himself as a police officer, and begins de-escalating. He determines there's probable cause for arrest on the warrant and starts placing the man in handcuffs. A bystander, 22-year-old activist who lives in the complex, immediately pulls out his phone and starts live streaming on social media. He walks within 6 to 8 feet of the officer, yelling, "This is police brutality. Everyone record this." He refuses multiple verbal commands to step back and stay out of the arrest zone for the officer's safety. The suspect begins resisting the handcuffing. He starts twisting and pulling. To maintain control and prevent the situation from turning into a full fight, which could endanger everyone, Officer Ramirez uses the standard escort hold and briefly directs the bystander further away with an open hand on the shoulder while saying, "Back up, you're interfering with an arrest." The bystander continues filming and now claims he was assaulted. The arrest is completed without further incident and no one is injured. The entire event lasts under 4 minutes. Basic scenario, it's happened, you've seen it everywhere. Now, before May 4th, before this bill was passed, this would have been a standard defensible use of force, and authority. Qualified immunity under federal law and Connecticut's precedent would always most certainly protect the officer from personal liability if the bystander later sued because the actions were objectively reasonable under the circumstances that I just described. The department's internal affairs review would likely classify this as within policy. Now, the new law. Senate Bill 397 takes effect. The specific immunity removal provision kicks in. The bill explicitly removes qualified immunity protections for officers who arrest or use force against someone who is taking photos or video of their actions. The bystander's live stream directly triggers this new carve-out. Even though the officer's actions were minimal and safety-driven, the law now treats the interaction with the filmer as presumptively exposing the officer to liability. That's the change. I'll explain more in a bit. Let's get to our traffic and weather. I didn't realize what the time was. Mark Christopher's here. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Reese, good afternoon. If you are traveling on the southbound side of I-91, you're going to see delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Northbound 91, easy ride Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 84 eastbound, you're delayed about a mile before 46th Avenue. Into the tunnel. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 2 westbound is slowing as you move from 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. Now, if you are traveling into the Middletown area, 9 northbound slowing 22 to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're traveling on the westbound side of 84, that's slowing in Waterbury 26 to 25A, again from 23 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. And if you're heading down in toward New Haven, 95 southbound delays 46 down to exit 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
quite a windy afternoon and warm. We will continue that theme with temperatures above average overnight. Increasing clouds, the low temperature 50 and cooler with a couple of showers tomorrow up to 66 degrees. Those showers will end early tomorrow evening, then cloudy, the low temperature 48. Breezy with a mix of sun and clouds on Thursday up to 65. Mostly cloudy Thursday night down to 43 degrees. Partly sunny breezy on Friday up to 62. Increasing clouds Friday night down to 44 degrees. And finally, a couple of showers in here, unfortunately at the expense of the weekend, on Saturday that is, with a high of 59. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
It's 4 o'clock, Hartford temperature 78 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The WTIC Weather Center you heard there just now with sunny skies and a temperature near 80 degrees. With tensions ratcheting up in the Strait of Hormuz, Secretary of State Rubio held a briefing earlier this afternoon at the White House.
Guys, again, if you take anything away today, and I can't tell you what to write, but Iran cannot be allowed to normalize this control of the Straits. It's completely unlawful, illegal. It's outrageous.
Rubio reacting after Tehran was blamed for new attacks on the Strait and on the United Arab Emirates. State House Democratic leaders say a Senate-approved bill expanding parole eligibility won't make it to the floor before the end of the session Wednesday night. More from WTIC's Dave Mager.
The bill would have allowed more inmates to become eligible for parole after many years in prison. Democratic State Rep Steve Staffstrom.
If they can show they're a completely different person, why shouldn't we give them the opportunity to apply for parole? Nobody's saying they're going to get out of jail necessarily.
In a public hearing, convicts spoke of their rehabilitation after committing impulsive crimes at a young age. But House Democratic leadership thought the plan might not have the votes, as Republicans like House Minority Leader Vin Candelora all lined up against it.
There's enough Democrats that share the Republican position that this bill goes too far.
House Speaker Matt Ritter sees the juvenile justice bill returning and possibly passing next year. Dave Mager, WTIC 1080
Now,
News.
after debating late into the night, the Senate did approve a controversial homeschooling bill. When a family pulls a student from school, the DCF would check to see if that family has any open child abuse cases or whether any adult in the family is on the list of alleged abusers. Democratic Senator Doug McCaughey is co-chair of the Education Committee.
We did not want to place a child in the hands of an adult who is on the state child abuse and neglect registry.
But based on recent headlines, Republicans argue DCF is not a reliable source for the information right now. Senate Minority Leader Steve Harding.
This is an agency that I said is a train wreck. It can't get out of its own way. There are literally children dying on their watch, and they want to give them more power now? Is that insane? They want to give them more authority to potentially harass these homeschooling parents?
The bill would also require families to check in annually with the Department of Education. Democrats earlier removed a plan to have families share their homeschoolers' curriculum. New Haven's new permanent police chief is vowing to strengthen community ties, shaken upon the arrest earlier this year of his predecessor. Assistant Chief David Zanelli was sworn in on Tuesday at City Hall. He's an 18-year department veteran who stepped in when Carl Jacobson resigned and was arrested for allegedly stealing police funds to feed a gambling habit. Chief Zanelli says he and his officers must show they have the community's best interests at heart.
Preventing a violent crime from occurring in the first place is the optimal goal. We will continue to strengthen our partnerships with community leaders, neighborhood organizations, schools, and residents. We will be visible and listen, especially when times are hard and the conversations are difficult.
Zanelli says he wants the department to win back the respect of those they serve. Ceasefire with Iran is holding, says the Trump administration. This despite the U.S. military guiding ships through the Strait of Hormuz and sinking smaller boats from Iran that are threatening commercial vessels.
The president said Project Freedom, the U.S. guidance of vessels through the Strait of Hormuz, remains in place.
As you know, the blockade's been amazing. It's like a piece of steel. Nobody's going to challenge the blockade.
But Iran did challenge the blockade when it opened fire on U.S. warships. The U.S. military responded by destroying 6 Iranian small boats.
You know, they fired them in little boats with pea shooters.
The U.S. military also intercepted Iranian cruise missiles and drones. The president has often declared Iran's Navy, Air Force, and intercept capabilities have all been destroyed. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Dow up 356 points to 49,298. NASDAQ up 258 and the S&P up 58 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the 3rd leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Irby Fisher. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Reese is on the radio.
All right, it's Reese on the radio. Second half of the show coming up, and our next conversation is going to be with GOP gubernatorial candidate Betsy McCaughey. She's going to join us in a little bit to preview our debate on Thursday at the Stadium 15, the private event room at Stadium 15 at 7 p.m. We'll tell you when to call. You can get an opportunity to go to that event. We're giving away tickets today and tomorrow, so you can be there with all of us, and then we'll talk to her. And then later on, we'll talk to Ryan Fazio, who will also call in. And both of them are just here to preview the debate as it comes up. And we are raring to go and very excited. I will admit, I'm a little bit nervous, just a little bit nervous. I've never done anything like this, and I'm so glad the station is doing it with me. They've done this stuff 1,000 times. I mean, it's a 100-year-old station. I'm sure they've done it plenty of times. It's nothing new to those folks, but it's new to me. I kind of feel like I'm kind of arrived. It's weird. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll talk to Betsy about some of the stuff going on in the news, going on in her campaign. I think she's got an event coming up as well. I'll talk to her a little bit about that and if she's raring to go this Thursday. So stand by for that. Let's get you on the roads and covered on the roads with our good friend Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, sir.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, southbound 91 coming into Hartford, you're going to see delays from 36 down to 35 in Windsor. Again, 33 down to 32 A and B in Hartford. If you're traveling on the westbound side of I-84, look for delays now as you approach the Bulkley Bridge out to exit 4730. 84 eastbound's locked up about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 2 westbounds tied up in East Hartford from 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 and southbound's a little tight now as you move down by exit 25 in New Britain. 9 northbound sluggish from 22 up to exit 24 in New Britain. If you're heading on the eastbound side of 84 in Waterbury, delays by exit 18 84 eastbound again sluggish from 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 slows 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. And 95 South New Haven slowing 46 down to 45 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We've got a partly sunny sky, very warm, rather windy. There is an elevated fire risk for the rest of the day, so properly discard any cigarette butts. The high temperature up to 82 degrees. Increasing clouds down to 57 overnight. A couple of showers, mostly cloudy. The high 66 tomorrow. Evening showers tomorrow and then more cloudy. The low temperature 48. To variable clouds Thursday up to 65. Mostly cloudy down to 43 Thursday night. Up to 62, partly sunny on Friday. Friday night, clouds on the increase down to 44 degrees and a few afternoon showers on Saturday, the high only 59. Right now, we are up to 77 in Bristol, 76 in Newington, and 75 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Eat it up, the Hartford Yard Goats, eat it up. The Yard Goats are back home Tuesday, May 12th for 6 straight games, and the Red Sox affiliate is in town. We've got a Yard Goats captain's hat giveaway and live music on Yacht Rock Night. Fireworks Friday and Saturday, and kids run the bases on Sunday. Yard Goats Baseball is the most affordable family entertainment in Connecticut, with tickets starting at just $10. Find out why Duncan Park was named the best ballpark in America by Newsweek. Eat it up. Oh, yeah.
Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment was "Thou shalt not speak ill of another Republican," a political rule established in the 1960s to foster party unity by discouraging public infighting. On May 7th, WTIC News Talk 1080 will host the 11th commandment Republican gubernatorial debate, with candidates vying for the Republican nomination at the private event room at Stadium 15 in Farmington. The debate will be live on the air, but if you'd like to be in the audience, listen to Brian and Company every morning and Reese on the radio every afternoon for your chance to win a pair of tickets. WTIC News Talk 1080's 11th Commandment Republican Gubernatorial Debate is sponsored by AARP Connecticut.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back and raring to go. And, of course, as promised, on the line with us is none other than former Lieutenant Governor of New York and GOP candidate for Governor of Connecticut, Betsy McCaughey is on the line. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hello, Reese. First of all, I want to make it very clear, you have arrived. No question about that.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. This has been it's been a great thing, meeting you, meeting Ryan, meeting all the candidates and going to the events and everything. This has been, it's almost a dream come true. I feel like I'm a part of something big here in Connecticut. I hope that we pull it out no matter who the candidate is. This is important to get done. I've been here before, but never on the radio, so it's great. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. How is the campaign going? I know you're still fundraising. How is it going thus far?
The campaign is going very, very well. There's tremendous enthusiasm all across the state. I'm out every night. Tonight I'm headed to Suffield, Milford, and last night I was in New Milford and Fairfield. I'm covering a lot of ground, but everybody wants a Connecticut comeback.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm offering. Big ideas, a bold plan to turn the state in a very positive direction.
Well, I know that you do, and I've got to say, we haven't talked about it a lot here, but I know that you did something that many people are considering bold and important and needed, was when you filed this lawsuit against Governor Kathy Hochul of New York. And we then learned, I think it was over the weekend, it may have been late Friday, that you have a judge who has been assigned to your lawsuit, which in essence means that you're not playing around. This is the real deal. Tell everyone about that.
I'm not playing around. I'm going to be in court, and we're going to be on our way to affordable energy in Connecticut before I'm even elected. For those who missed the idea, the fact is that New York has been obstructing our access to affordable natural gas from the Marcellus Shale in Pennsylvania. And we've been paying in Connecticut 300% higher prices for natural gas because we're importing it from places like Tobago, Nicaragua, Canada. And when we could be getting it through a pipeline from Pennsylvania, but that pipeline has been blocked first by Andrew Cuomo, now by Kathy Hochul, and that's a violation of the Interstate Commerce Clause, one of the most important parts of the Constitution. It's actually the major reason the framers wrote the Constitution, because states were behaving in this obstructionist way before the U.S. Constitution. It's as if Hochul set up a big barrier and blocked trucks from driving from Jersey through New York to Connecticut bringing goods. It's an obstruction of commerce.
You know, this debate is going to say a lot to the people, not only who will be there, but the people who will be watching online or be listening on WTIC on the radio station, because, again, we are simulcasting this everywhere. And, of course, I think CTN is also going to rebroadcast it, so we're going to make it available to them so that everyone will be able to see it, whoever wants to. I think that today is a good time to sort of preview what the importance of your message, the importance of your campaign for those who may be on the fence, deciding between the three of you, what makes you unique. And I know that, you know, suing Governor Hochul, for me, I look at that, if I'm, you know, one of these people who are trying to make a decision, I look at that and I go, wow, that's a bold statement to make. That's, you know, somebody who doesn't have the job yet, who seems to be working for the people here. What are some of the other things that you can throw out there to say that, hey, look my way, or at least consider maybe come to my events? What are the things that you would like to have resonate with those people who are thinking about joining your campaign or supporting you in this campaign?
Well, one of the most important is eliminating the state income tax. Of course, there are many naysayers, Reese, but we can't afford not to eliminate the state income tax, because the companies that are leaving Connecticut in droves are going to states that have eliminated the tax or are in the process of eliminating the tax. And I often hold up a map, I will certainly hold it up at the debate, showing that so many states in the United States now are getting rid of the income tax because the White House calls it an economy killer. The income tax is an economy killer. And the Council of Economic Advisors says if Connecticut specifically eliminates its income tax, business startups will increase 25%. You know how many people want to start a business and haven't been able to do it. So there you have it. This is the way that we can guarantee our young people a strong state with high growth instead of a low growth state that people are leaving.
Are you going to be wearing your signature red at the debate?
I think I'm not.
Okay.
You know, maybe I'm just going to throw a little wrench in this and wear something different. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know, Betsy. I almost feel like I'm sort of used to you wearing, you know, red. You know what I meant to ask you? This is something that's been on my mind. I know you write a column. You've written a column for the New York Post, and of course you have
I write a column every week for the New York Post.
Okay, you currently
use my life for 15 years.
Right, you still do. What about the Newsmax thing? Is that created an issue, like because of you running?
I've suspended my contract there. I'm still on Newsmax, but on an unpaid basis because the FCC and other legal entities like candidates having unfair access to the media.
Understood. So I seem to have lost you. Try one more time, Betsy. You might be heading into a dead zone. Oh, we may have to get her back. Betsy, you there?
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, you sound better now. Okay, the last thing you were saying about the
I
FCC.
seem to. Oh yes, the FCC doesn't consider it a violation, but if I were on network news instead of cable news, they would. So we decided to abide by the spirit of that law.
Wow. Okay, and we appreciate that because I understood that you didn't have to do that, but again, you wanted to dedicate this full time.
Do it,
right.
But it's the right thing to do. And as you know, I often had on members of the state legislature from Connecticut to discuss Connecticut news, which gets neglected by so many news outlets. I've had on many people from the legislature, Vince Candelora and others, Rob Sampson, one of my favorites, to talk about issues like Lefty Lamont's outrageous zoning law.
Have you had any contact with Ryan Fazio or Erin Stewart? Has there been any communication between them?
I see them every night.
You do?
We have a very cordial relationship. I see both of them almost every night because we're all going to the same towns peddling our ideas, right? This is a fun time for us, and I enjoy their company.
And that's good. And I love the fact that this has been with the occasional jabbing back and forth, but I know that's part of the routine. But I appreciate the fact that there has not been any like all-out wars that we've seen in the past with primary campaigns as we've seen on the national level. I remember quite vividly 2015 and 2016 when there were a lot of very unfortunate jabs being taken at individuals in the party.
Right.
That's the important, for me, that's the reason why it's been called the 11th commandment, is because there's been so much talk about not enough party unity. But even though we're seeing a little bit of the sort of, I want to say a little bit of the rhetoric, it hasn't been overwhelmingly negative. It's been overwhelmingly positive for the candidates. So I like hearing that. And I like seeing that.
My rivals are both very fine people. I say that to every audience every night, and I mean it. They're both very fine people, and I urge those groups of people to vote for me because I'm a battle-tested fighter, and I would say a disruptor. I'm the grenade thrower in the race, and if the people of Connecticut want real change, they will choose me. But we're in the race together, and we're all very cordial.
Betsy, thank you so much. Looking forward to Thursday. Can't wait to see you there. Make sure you're there early because it starts at 7. So if you guys can get there at 6:30, maybe.
Yes, we'll be early and say hello to your wonderful bride.
Thank you. I definitely will. Thank you, Betsy. And she'll be excited to hear you say that. Thank you, Betsy. I appreciate you. We'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye. Betsy McCaughey, ladies and gentlemen, and look forward to having her here tomorrow. Well, Thursday, I should say. Not tomorrow. Thursday at the 11th Commandment GOP gubernatorial debate. Speaking of which, why not? Get on the phones, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842 if you would like to win a pair of tickets to join us at the private event room at Stadium 15 in Farmington at 7 p.m. on May 7th, Thursday, for the 11th Commandment GOP gubernatorial debate. Hosted by me and my moderator friends, Brian Shackman and Morgan Cunningham. And it is brought to you by our good folks and our proud sponsors, AARP Connecticut. Plus, let me see, couldn't agree more. We don't have state income tax here in Nevada, John Beckman says. It really makes a difference. Yeah, it's going to make a difference in Florida as well, which I'm expecting it to happen. Before Betsy called in, you know, I was talking about this scenario with Governor Lamont and this rule of the I guess this law SB 397 that he signed, and this thing here, it says I did, yeah. Before we got into the break, the specific immunity removal that kicks in after the signage yesterday. The bill explicitly removes qualified immunity protections for officers who arrest or use force against someone who is taking photos or video of their actions. The bystander's live stream directly triggers this new carve-out. Even though Officer Ramirez, who is the example that I'm using here, his actions were minimal and safety-driven, the law now treats the interaction with the filmer as presumptively exposing the officer to liability. The broad new state civil rights cause of action applies. Section 1 of the bill creates a state-level lawsuit right. Any person can sue a state or local officer, not just federal ICE agents, which would never see the light of day. In Connecticut Superior Court, if they claim the officer, under color of law, deprived them of constitutional rights, the bystander files suit within weeks, alleging 1, violation of First Amendment rights to film the police officer in public. 2, unreasonable seizure or excessive force when the officer physically directs him to go back. So the officer in this case, if he puts his hands out while he's trying to handcuff this gentleman and he's too close to him, he says, I need you to stand back so I can clear this person from the area. I need a clear path to get him into my vehicle. If the filmer obstructs that and he moves him because he refuses to move, in essence, that's going to happen, that immediately puts this unreasonable seizure or excessive force into play. The suit names the officer Ramirez personally and the city or the municipality. In essence, the city gets sued as well as the officer. The additional parts of this bill, even though there wasn't an immigration case, see, they thought this had everything to do with immigration. It does not. It has nothing to do with immigration. The location is on a public street directly adjacent to a church, one of the bill's protected areas. The plaintiff's attorney argues the arrest zone overlapped with protected area rules, creating extra scrutiny. The new law also gives the state inspector general expanded oversight powers in certain accountability cases, which can trigger a parallel administrative investigation. What happens to this officer personally? He's served with the lawsuit. His name and body cam footage become public record in the complaint. The city's insurance carrier steps in, but the new law's removal of immunity increases the chance of a settlement or jury award that exceeds normal qualified immunity dismissals. Even a modest settlement, say $25,000 to $75,000, will get considered, will get charged against the department's budget, and shows up on Officer Ramirez's personal record. Internal Affairs will open up a mandatory review because of the new civil complaint. He spends hours in depositions and interviews. That's the officer. His body cam shows he followed the training and gave warnings, but the new legal standard created by SB 397 may not be enough to get this case dismissed early. The career impact for this officer: the incident goes into his file. Future promotions, specialized assignments, be it SWAT investigations or anything higher, or even transfers, become harder. Some officers in similar situations have reported increased stress, early retirement considerations, or requests to transfer to less activist-heavy towns. Department-wide ripple: the city revises policies, stricter rules on when officers can physically redirect bystanders, filming, more mandatory de-escalation pauses, extra training hours. This slows response times and increases officers' exposure in volatile scenes. That's the problem, folks. Again, pun intended, handcuffing police officers. That's what this is done to do. That's what all of this is about. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's here. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. And this traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And if you're making your way into Hartford right now on the eastbound side of 84, look for delays about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84 tied up, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. Southbound 91 got delays from 34 down to 32 A and B in Hartford, again down by exit 28. 291 eastbound slowing off of I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound Middletown, you got delays delays 22 to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 north, again, a little slow, getting by 32 in Berlin. If you are traveling into Waterbury, 84 eastbound delays 17 up to 18. And again, sluggish 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound side of 84 slowing, getting by 33 up to 32. Plainville into Southington. Again, 84 westbound delays in Waterbury, 23 up to the Mixmaster. Traffic moves slow, but your transformation shouldn't. Columbia Implant Center provides full dental implants in just one visit. Open 7 days a week in Manchester to fit your busy life. Get your smile back today at ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Quite a windy afternoon and warm. We will continue that theme with temperatures above average overnight. Increasing clouds, the low temperature 50 and cooler with a couple of showers tomorrow up to 66 degrees. Those showers will end early tomorrow evening, then cloudy, the low temperature 48. Breezy with a mix of sun and clouds on Thursday up to 65. Mostly cloudy Thursday night down to 43 degrees. Partly sunny breezy on Friday up to 62. Increasing clouds Friday night down to 44 degrees. And finally, a couple of showers in here, unfortunately at the expense of the weekend, on Saturday that is, with a high of 59. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
78 degrees at 4:30. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. There was a swearing-in ceremony today for New Haven's new police chief. Assistant Chief David Zanelli had held the position on an acting basis since the resignation and arrest of his predecessor, Carl Jacobson. In remarks after the swearing-in, the new chief admitted he and his officers have to win back the community's trust.
To the community, I ask for your continued partnership. Public safety is not something that we can do alone. It requires collaboration, communication, and mutual respect. Hold us accountable, but also engage with us. Help us understand your concerns.
Jacobson is facing charges. He stole tens of thousands from police accounts because of a gambling addiction. State House Democratic leaders say they won't vote, that is, on SB 503 before the end of the session tomorrow night. It is a Senate-passed measure that would have expanded parole eligibility for those who committed crimes at a young age. They're not sure they have the votes for it in the House. The controversial bill that regulates homeschooling in Connecticut, including notification of the Department of Children and Families when pulling a student out of school, was passed. That passed late last night. Opponents, though, argued the bill adds too much government oversight on families who aren't doing anything wrong. Vice President Vance in Iowa today. He's trying to drum up support for Republican candidates there. Spent part of the day in his home state of Ohio voting in the primary there. Trial over whether the state could have done something to stop the 2015 death of an infant thrown from the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown is underway in Waterbury. Tony Moreno was convicted of throwing his 7-month-old son Aiden from the bridge back in July of 2015. He was subsequently convicted of murder in 2017. And UConn great Tina Charles, the WNBA's all-time leading rebounder, is retiring from the league. The 8-time All-Star made the announcement today on social media. Charles, with 4,262 rebounds to her credit, also finished as the league's number 2 all-time scorer behind fellow UConn legend Diana Taurasi. The 15-year vet was the number 1 pick of the Connecticut Sun in 2010 after helping the Huskies win consecutive NCAA championships in 2009 and in 2010. Dow finished up 356 points today. The NASDAQ gained 258 and the S&P was up 58. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse, Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
Irby Fisher. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SCHEV.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC. News Talk 1080.
All right, looks like we have a winner. Congratulations to Darlene. We had a Charlene, now we have a Darlene from Wednesday. She's going to be joining us on May 7th, this Thursday, at the private event room at Stadium 15 for the 11th Commandment GOP gubernatorial debate at 7 p.m., brought to you by AARP Connecticut. All right, with that, let's do the stupidest thing. This thing never works.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Stupidest thing I read today, well, things, actually. Authorities in Armenia mobilized for an escaped zebra sighting, only to discover that it was all a hoax. Well, it was an elaborate prank, believe it or not. It was not an escaped zebra. It turns out that someone, to get people excited, had painted a donkey black and white. That takes a lot of effort, by the way. It takes a lot of effort. The hoax, or the prank as they call it, had wasted resources who wanted to provide comic relief. Similar animal misidentifications occur globally when creativity meets loose livestock. And also in India, a celebration in India ended in tragedy when a birthday host. Now, this is the craziest story I've ever heard. And it would only happen in a place like Harlem or my hometown of Hollis, Queens. Apparently, this town in India, it is called Bulandshahar, India, ended in tragedy when a birthday host was smeared with cake in his face. He was smeared with cake in his face. And according to this town in this province, this is a common custom. But this individual whose birthday it was, who got smeared with cake on his face, shot his 3 friends for doing so. He was so angry at them violating his personal space and his dignity. He pulled out a gun and he fired on all 3 of his friends. A moment of reveille that turned into violence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I do not celebrate birthdays. I don't celebrate them. Roseanne had to surprise me the last time, and I don't like surprises. But yeah, that's a little insane. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard, and the stupidest thing I've read today. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher is here. When we return, we should have Brian Fazio, if he's not in some debate, on the phone with us to preview his debate with us on the 7th. So stand by for that. What did I do? Okay, well, we're almost ready for him. So, okay, we'll wait until he gets here. But like I said, Ryan Fazio should be here after we do weather and traffic, and then we'll continue with the show. I got a whole bunch of stuff that I have not even touched on yet. Oh, that's right, Black Lives Matter 860. Also, Erin Stewart with Black Lives Matter 860, and apparently a meme that they posted that Erin Stewart's camp is calling violent, and they're upset that no one in the news media or the Democrat Party is calling it out. We'll talk about that when we return as well. There he is. Mark Christopher's back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. How we doing, sir?
We're doing okay, Reese. Thank you very much. If you're heading into Hartford, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and northbound 91's okay. Westbound 84 slows approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound tied up about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the downtown tunnel. If you are on the northbound side of 5 and 15, you're seeing delays from the Charter Oak Bridge up to 84 East in East Hartford. Traveling into Middletown right now, we're seeing some slow traffic 9 northbound as you approach the Aragoni Bridge. Traveling into Waterbury, 84 eastbound slowing by exit 18. Westbound 84 slows from 22 to the Mixmaster, and 84 eastbound is sluggish in Cheshire, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by NJM Insurance Group.
If you dread dealing with your insurance more than you dread yard work, with a swarm of hungry mosquitoes buzzing around, then you might have Insuranoia. You should have NJM Insurance. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders.
WTIC weather.
We've got a partly sunny sky, rather windy with an elevated fire risk for the rest of the day. The high temperature very close to 80 to 82 degrees. Now, tonight we will have clouds on the increase with a low of 57, and then a couple of showers in here tomorrow as a cold front pushes through. It'll be mostly cloudy, the high temperature only 66 degrees. A couple of evening showers, then cloudy, the low 48 tomorrow night. A mix of sun and clouds, rather breezy on Thursday, the high 65. Thursday night, mostly cloudy, down to 43. Partly sunny, breezy on Friday, up to 62. And then a couple of showers, mainly in the afternoon on Saturday, the high 59. Right now, it's 76 in Plainville, 72 in Meriden, and 75 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Support comes from Amazon Business. You can't rely on guesswork to run your business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience, paired with delivery options built for business. Empower your team today. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Brian Jackman here for Serta Pro Painters. Listen, I had an incredible experience with them. They gave me a great estimate. They were there on time, and when they came to paint our kitchen, they were in and out, and when they were gone, it was like they were never there, except they left a beautiful kitchen. Maybe it's time for you to take a look at their spring sales event. You can get 10% off qualifying projects through May the 15th. Serta Pro Painters, they're independently owned and operated right here in our community, so you might want to give them a call. Start spring off right. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Serta with a C.
Sale ends soon. Don't wait.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audion Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure. Clearer hearing delivered right to your door. Join over 1 million happy customers hearing life more clearly. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, no Ryan Fazio yet, but he'll be calling in during the break. We did tell him we were going to give him some latitude on when he can call in, but he's probably going to call roughly in and around this hour. Let me go to Simsbury Joe on the line. What's up, big guy?
Hello there. So with your permission, I'd like to change the subject. I think people will get a kick out of what I'd like to talk about here. And then if Ryan calls, obviously, just drop my call, please, quickly.
Not a problem, of course. Anything for you, Joe, you know it's a pleasure.
Yeah. So sometimes I think that maybe we should keep the illegals and remove all the libtards from this country. And today sometimes these examples just show up where what I just said was meant to be funny, but it really should be seriously considered.
Tell me.
So Donald Trump announced the presidential fitness test is coming back.
Right.
He had a thing in his office with Bryson DeChambeau and some other pro athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at what people are saying about this announcement, and you look at what the left is saying specifically, is that they'd like to see Trump do it. Well, Trump's almost 80 years old.
Mm-hmm.
This is a physical fitness test for children that the majority of us used to go through until Barack Obama dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're also seeing is, you got a bunch of people that are joking. It's pretty funny. They're talking about, the events or the tasks need to now be, competitive sitting, thumb speed. But really what you're also seeing is you're seeing people who are trying to be serious, and they're saying that, well, we really shouldn't have this test. It's going to bring shame and ridicule and bullying because people will have to do this in front of their peers, and it's traumatic. And there are so many listeners right now listening to this saying, oh, my God, I did that test. I remember that test. I had to run a shuttle run. I had to do some sit-ups. Maybe you got a good score. Maybe you didn't. But now we've got a group of people that think kids being physically fit, especially when society is such where, a lot of kids play youth sports, but in my day, we came home from school and we ran outside to go run around with our friends, and then we played sports, and we fit homework in, and now kids come off the bus and you never see them again until their parents drive them to sports.
Right.
So I think it's just I think people get a kick out of it, at least I hope they did, because it's just one of those other examples of, sure, we're talking about income taxes and property tax rebellions and foreign policy and all the other stuff. And, really at its core, do you folks not realize that we have a generation of children who are not physically fit, and what that means for them health-wise, self-confidence-wise, God forbid, military, preparation-wise for our country. And we've done this for a long, long time, and now it's a problem. And these people that are against it are a real big problem. Because they don't see it, and it's so logical to me.
It is. Let me throw something at you, and it's maybe a curveball. But when I was doing my
they can't hit the curve either.
When I was doing my podcast, I would say that here there are certain parameters and conversations that I can have, but I have to do it a sort of different way. However, what I said and what is on my podcast is still available. I hid nothing. There was no deletion. It was like, get rid of the old stuff. I never did any of it, and I stand by every claim I ever made and every stance I ever took. But I am going to throw this curveball at you. I have said often that the left are the ones that are doing the thing that you're talking about, undermining the president and his physical fitness, saying that it's going to shame the heavy people or fat people or people who are overweight or the body positive, sort of faction of our society, right? This was also the same argument that I made years ago about abortion. I said, we have always been these people on the right who have always said we are trying to protect every life in the womb because we see them as valuable. And because of that, we are not the types that would say, well, they're only leftist babies that are being murdered in the womb. Why do we care? They're just killing themselves off. Truth be told, we could have that attitude. So here's my curveball to you. Why don't you have that attitude? Why don't you have the attitude that says, well, the only people who are going to be affected by this not exercising or condemning the White House for bringing it back, or those who are concerned about being shamed, those people are never going to participate in this, and they're only going to get diabetes and die. Why do you care?
I care because I think it is the foundation of a strong society. And if someone, using the examples of someone, has health problems in the future, what parent, what grandparent, what aunt, what uncle would not want a child who is a teenager or in grade school and I believe I first took this test in grade school, to be physically fit. What excuse could you possibly have other than you really don't care about the kid? Because what Obama did when he removed this test was they put in something, and I don't know how it works, some PE teacher would probably have to call in and say it, where it was more of an individualized look at where people are.
Yes.
And it's like, come on, folks. It's not the end of the world. You don't do well on the test, you don't do well. But then out of that people who don't do well, actually, on the people who do well, a lot of them in their mid-20s or 30s will have a huge bare belly and will never be athletic again the rest of their lives.
Right.
And a lot of them who didn't do well will say, you know something, I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to be better, and they'll become the most physically fit people out there. Why is there excuses for people to be challenged at the most basic core level, which is to be a physically fit young man or young woman? And I haven't even gotten into, are there going to be different scores and standards for boys versus girls? Because I don't know.
I'll go one step further. I'll go one step further with you on this, Joe, because I almost feel like, and I know you'll agree with me on this. If you're looking at a grade school kid or even a junior high school kid, and you see them around their peers, and let's say that, this is a heavyset kid who's got friends who are not heavyset, and they see their friends out there playing kickball or playing, soft, what do you call it, an underhand pitch, wiffle ball, whatever the case is, and they're running around and they're chasing each other, playing tag and blah, blah, blah. There is that one kid, and I know that there are those heavyset kids that, are heavyset. They are almost enthusiastic about joining in those reindeer games to the point where they look at themselves, not with shame. They say to themselves, you know what, I don't want to be this big anymore. I want to be able to run around like my buddy Tom does. I want to be able to keep up with them. And these kids might be influenced by that and say, I'm going to cut down. Like they come on. I'll never forget the day that my stepdaughter came home and looked at me and she said, Dad, I'm going to be a vegan. And I went, why? She goes, because all my girlfriends are vegans. That's usually how it works. She didn't last a weekend, by the way, but that's usually how it works. I'll never forget it. The first time I made bacon, she was like, don't tell anybody, can I have a piece? That's just the thing, but kids are often influenced by other kids' actions. Am I wrong here?
Not at all. And I can tell you that I coached youth sports for years for my kids, and I was well known by the kids and the parents because I've heard about it years after these kids have gone on and lived their lives, went to college, or run into them in a supermarket or something, or their parents. I was all about one thing. It is all about the effort.
Yeah.
There is no reason why you can't do your best effort. I don't care if it was baseball. You strike out all the time, but you're up there, you're doing your best, you're my hero.
Yeah.
In football, I don't care if the bigger, faster guy got around you, but you tried like heck to block them, you are my hero.
Yep.
You are going to have a good experience. And those of you who are not putting forth your effort, you're not just hurting yourselves, you're hurting other people on the team, and then you're going to find out in the business world or whatever world you are that if you don't know how to contribute your best effort to a team, then you're not really going to do well in life.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is frightening. I've talked to one of my closest friends, and we coached a lot of these teams together, and when we look back at kids who were not very athletic, but they did their best effort, the majority of them overwhelmingly are doing phenomenal in life.
Yeah.
And there were kids who didn't make effort, and they're not doing well at all.
Yeah.
It was so noticeable years later.
Team sports, man, as a coach, and you and I are similar in that. Trust me, when I coached soccer for those 2 years, it was an amazing thing to watch those kids who had never participated in team sports and the way in which they came out at the other end. They were so different from the moment that I met them. And team sports does that. It just teaches something you're never going to get anywhere in life. And it doesn't matter if they never become professionals at it. Having that in their lives changes it. It changes it dramatically. It's such a good point.
You will never put the fact that you won the Little League championship in 6th grade on your resume.
Yeah, that's true.
It does not matter. I'm glad for you that you did it, but...
But the effort in and of itself will last far longer than that trophy will, because that trophy will end up in the trash can. But what you learned from it will last a lifetime.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I don't mind you changing the subject. You're always good on that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You got it. Let's go to Bob in Waterbury. What's up, Bob?
Hi, Reese. How you doing?
Good, sir.
Just to get on to what the last very knowledgeable gentleman said. When I was in elementary school and stuff like that, doing the tests and everything, everybody, like in the gym, you didn't do like sit-ups this week and everybody else was watching you.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody did it, and no one ever said nothing about nobody, not that I remember. And then another time in the town league, we were playing baseball, and this is like a 12 to like 17 little league and big. There's one guy, and this is a town league. He didn't join; he just joined to play, so it wasn't school. And he, he's not very good, but he got hit in the hiney one time with the ball. It's kids, and he goes, "Ow, that hurt," and but everybody laughed, and the kid had a blast.
Yeah.
And he struck out or hit to the pitcher, and he ran the first inning. But the guy enjoyed it. The kid.
Yeah.
And
that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And then the other thing about our college kids they have decompression rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like take a time out. What are they going to do when they get to a board meeting or something? That ain't going to happen.
Those kids, listen, I always say that the kid athlete or the kid playing sports from home versus the professional athlete, like the kid who's in college who's trying to make this his professional career, those relationships or those individuals I always find completely different from the kids who play the sports. And for some other reason, it's apples and oranges, but that's a conversation for another day. Thank you, Bob. Real quick.
Another time I had a coach that he would, on his own, at the end of the game, he would bring us to get ice cream here and there every time. That wasn't his job, but he did it. And he was a great coach.
That's exactly. I've known some great coaches in my life, people who've assisted me, man. It is an honor to have served with them. I wish I could do it again, man, because that's a part of my life that I really missed.
Yep.
Thank you.
Never too late. All right. See you later, Reese.
You got it, sir. Let's go to Chris real quick before we wrap it up. How you doing, Chris?
Good, Reese. How you doing, brother?
I'm great, sir. What's up?
Yeah, I love the guy before was talking about, reenacting the presidential physical fitness test.
Right.
So he's right, though. Obama did go away with that 2012, 2013.
Right.
So instead, what he did, he didn't just cancel it, but he had his own program.
Mm-hmm.
It was called the Presidential Youth Fitness Program.
Wasn't that the thing that Michelle Obama was going around the town, going around promoting? Yes. I feel like it was called Get Fit or something like that. I can't remember the name of it.
Right. So I remember that, but I don't I know the guy was saying, Obama cut it and there was nothing. There actually was something. It wasn't like he just cut it and that was it. It was over. Kids can get fat and die. I mean,
I don't think he implied that, Chris.
But no, I know that. But I like what he said. But I think so. Obama was saying that he thought it was outdated. But I remember running a mile, right? Running a mile in your street clothes. And then going back to class, sweating your butt off. You had to make the mile.
That was, what? Because a lot of schools were not equipped with locker rooms, but they still wanted you to. They still wanted you to do. The only thing we had was lockers, not locker rooms, and they were in the hallway. So I remember sometimes people would actually change by their lockers in the hallway, and someone would stand by them with the towel, covering them up. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. I totally remember that.
Right? You're all stinking.
Yeah, man. It was like, I can't wear these clothes to my math class. I got to change.
Right? It's 10 a.m.
Exactly. Or if we had to do it in a blistering cold, even if it was a spring, it would be way too cold to be out there running a mile. You're absolutely right. Thank you.
We climbed the ropes too.
That's
we
right.
Climbed the ropes as well.
And I still can't do that. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you, man. You too, man. Let's get another check on traffic and weather. Mark Christopher's here. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. 84 eastbound delays about a half mile before 46 is Jefferson Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84 slows East Hartford, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. Southbound 91 delays 33 to 32. Another bump down by exit 28. If you are traveling on the northbound side of I-91, just a little slow traffic 33 up to 35 in Windsor. 291 eastbound slowing off of I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 eastbound's okay into Glastonbury. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Sluggish on the eastbound side of 84, 26 down to the 691 interchange. And westbound 84 Waterbury is sluggish from 23 up to the Mixmaster. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The warm streak that was underway during the day will continue tonight. Temperatures above average with a low of 57. Clouds on the increase late. That will lead to a couple of showers tomorrow afternoon with a high of 66. Those showers end early tomorrow night, otherwise cloudy down to 48. Breezy with variable cloudiness Thursday up to 65. Mostly cloudy down to 43 Thursday night, and partly sunny on Friday, the high temperature 62. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Reese will be there.
Mr. Mayor, how you doing? You know who I am? Your face looks familiar. Oh, okay.
Reese on the radio.
Okay, yeah.
I've been dying to get in a room with you to get some audience with you.
Okay.
Is it possible to come on the show?
Yeah.
Reese will be there.
Well, I'm saying it's $500 million that did not go back to tourism or to the towns that it was allotted for. I kind of feel like people are treating it like, oh, it's just $500 million. I mean, there's some people who are outraged.
This is all precedes me, by the way, but
Reese will be there.
So make sure you're tuned in Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. so that Reese can be there for you.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 78 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A day after his approval by the Board of Alders, New Haven Mayor Justin Ellicker swore in the city's new top cop. David Zanelli is no stranger to the department, serving 18 years, most recently as assistant chief. He says officers face many challenges.
Policing today is complex and demanding. Our officers face challenges that require not only physical readiness, but emotional resilience, compassion, and sound judgment.
Zanelli became acting chief upon the resignation and arrest of Carl Jacobson. He's facing charges he stole tens of thousands from police accounts to feed a gambling addiction. Medical teams in protective gear are aboard a cruise ship in Cape Verde off the coast of Africa. This following the deaths of 3 people on board due to a rare virus. Hantavirus usually spreads by inhaling contaminated rodent droppings. 2 cases are confirmed. Passengers are isolating in cabins. At a briefing, Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove, the head of the epidemic preparedness for the World Health Organization, says they expect Spanish authorities to take the lead.
The plan now is for the ship to continue on to the Canary Islands. We're working with Spanish authorities who will welcome the ship, have said that they will welcome the ship, to do a full investigation, a full epidemiologic investigation, full disinfection of the ship, and of course to assess the risk of the passengers that are actually on board. As I said, there are no other symptomatic patients who are on board.
Criminal justice bill passed by the state Senate will not make it through the House before the end of the legislative session Wednesday at midnight. House Democrats say they're not sure they have the votes to pass the bill, expanding parole eligibility for those who commit crimes at a young age. House Majority Leader Jason Rojas explains one of the hang-ups.
There were significant concerns among members that we talked to about any offenders who perhaps had a sexual crime, who were convicted of a sexual crime, and whether those should not be considered.
Republicans lined up against the plan, and some Democrats joined them. Separately, the House will consider a bill that aims to merge and strengthen the state's various laws against hate crimes. 2 are dead, 3 wounded in a mall shooting north of Dallas, the Koreatown section of Carrollton. The suspect, identified as Sung Han Ho, was apprehended following a brief chase. Carrollton Police Chief Roberto Arredondo.
Our undercover officers, using our police technology, were able to find the suspect's vehicle and determine the current location. Upon their arrival, they identified him. A short foot pursuit took place, and he was taken into custody without incident.
Chief says the suspect and victims were meeting for business purposes when the shooting broke out. The ceasefire in Iran is holding, says Trump administration officials. This, despite the U.S. military guiding ships through the Strait of Hormuz and sinking smaller boats from Iran that are threatening commercial vessels.
The president said Project Freedom, the U.S. guidance of vessels through the Strait of Hormuz, remains in place.
As you know, the blockade's been amazing. It's like a piece of steel. Nobody's going to challenge the blockade.
But Iran did challenge the blockade when it opened fire on U.S. warships. The U.S. military responded by destroying 6 Iranian small boats.
You know, they fired them in little boats with pea shooters.
The U.S. military also intercepted Iranian cruise missiles and drones. The president has often declared Iran's Navy, Air Force, and intercept capabilities have all been destroyed. Lindy Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
And with one day left in the current session, several state senators are being honored on their way to retirement. Republican Tony Wong of Fairfield chose not to run for re-election. Senator Jason Parilla says Wong is known for being his everywhere in his district.
You do it because you care about your community and you care about people and you want to give back and you want them to know that you're engaged.
Senator Ryan Fazio is also stepping down as he embarks on a campaign for governor. Democratic Senator CeCe Marr and Jan Huckadell also have submitted their retirement papers, as well as the Senate President, Democrat Martin Looney of New Haven. Dow up 356 points today. The NASDAQ gained 258 and the S&P was up 58. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog and your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds. Have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older, be stronger in the gym, be sharper at work, be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun
and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, man. And we are back, and let's do some music news. News. Hey, you know Chris Brown's birthday is today? Smack my... Oh, no, we can't. Yes, the R&B singer turns, I don't even know how old he turns. He was born in 1989. For some odd reason, they didn't put the ages in here. Also celebrating a birthday, one of my wife's favorite singers, Adele, celebrates a birthday today. Born May 5th of 1988, just a year before. A year before Chris Brown. Craig David, haven't heard from him. There's a song by Craig David that's really, really good. Called Got It Good. I play it all the time. It's kind of a dedication song for Roseanne. I love that. Ian McCulloch is also born today, 1959, the lead singer of Echo and the Bunnymen. Another one of my favorite bands back in the day. Steve Stevens, the guitarist known for his work with Billy Idol, who I wanted to see at Mohegan Sun or Foxwoods or wherever it was he was playing coming up soon. I'm going to miss that. Today, Farside is performing, and I'm not going to be able to see that because no one wanted to get me a ticket to go see the Farside. So if you know anybody, holla at your boy. Who is this? Bill Ward, the original drummer for Black Sabbath, also celebrates a birthday today. And Tammy Wynette Well, she died in 1988, but this would have been her birthday. Of course, famously for the song Stand By Your Man. Music milestones and anniversary. Chris Stapleton released his debut solo album on this day in 2015. Tori Amos released from the Choir Girl Hotel in 1998, her fourth studio album. Bad Religion's No Substance was released in 1998 on this day. And Paul Simon's There Goes Ryman Simon was released in 1973 on this date. And, of course, Elvis Presley, he is always on this list. He simultaneously topped the Billboard singles Heartbreak Hotel and album charts with his self-titled debut, the groundbreaking first for a rock artist in the start of his dominance. He's always going to be in there. The King, baby. I'm watching a series, Mark Christopher in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. There's a series called Paradise, and the opening of the second season is inside Graceland. Whatever event happens, because it's supposed to be one of those dystopian-like horror events where the whole world collapses. But the girl who used to be involved with Erin Rodgers, Shaylee, she's an actress. Shaylee, I forget her name. Anyway, she stars in the first episode, and she is a worker inside Graceland, and the world comes to an end, and she's trapped in the house, and it's filmed inside the actual Graceland, because I remembered every part of it.
Huh.
Yeah. Because like when she was walking through it, I was wondering whether or not it was a set that was made to mimic it. No, it is the actual Graceland they filmed it in. I know that plays backwards and forwards.
I remember the day Elvis died, and I mean, I just remember the world. I mean, I was only maybe 13.
Yeah.
I just remember the world just stopped.
It was my 8th birthday party.
Was it really?
Yeah, I was having a birthday because my birthday,
right?
August 17th. My birthday's the 14th. They shut down my birthday party. The whole party ended so we could watch.
Like your remote.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, exactly.
He was supposed to play the Hartford Civic Center like a week after he died.
Yeah.
Like a week after he died, he was supposed to play the Civic Center. So a lot of people held on to their tickets, and I guess they're worth.
They got to be worth a fortune now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Reese, if you're heading into Hartford, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. If you're traveling westbound 84, you've got delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound slows approaching 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 eastbound slowing off of I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 westbounds tied up 1D up to the 84 west merge. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 84 eastbound slowing by 18 in Waterbury. Again, some sluggish traffic. 26 down to the 691 interchange. And southbound Parkway, you'll see a little sluggish traffic now from 51 in Hamden into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
You have to go all the way back to Albany, New York to find any rain. That's associated with a cold front that will eventually move in our direction. Overnight, though, we stay dry, breezy, increasing clouds, a low temperature down to 57. Those showers do arrive tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy, not as warm, the high 66. Those showers will linger into early tomorrow night and then cloudy, the low temperature down to 48. Breezy, a mix of sun and clouds Thursday up to 65. Mostly cloudy Thursday night down to 43 degrees. Partly sunny, breezy 62, the high on Friday. And then a couple of afternoon showers on Saturday with a high of 59. Right now it's 70 in Cheshire, 74 in Coventry, and 74 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Also, I want to make mention that tomorrow on the program, we do have a guest who's going to be here, and that is Peter Lamont, from Fairfield, actually. And he's running for Connecticut Secretary of State, which is a very crowded field, but he and I saw each other a couple of, I want to say at least a month ago. We bumped into each other, and he's got an interesting story, his background, where he's from, and he has run for everything in this state. We'll talk about that. He'll be sitting right across from me on the program tomorrow. No, Fazio didn't call, and I'm not sure why, but I know that because there is a session, and they told us that they may not call at the allotted time, but they were going to try to be in. But if they don't, that's okay. It's no big deal. I won't hold it against them. I just, I kind of wanted to talk to them before the debate on Thursday. But, if we get it, we get it. We don't, we don't. That's fine. But like I said, Peter Lamont, he'll be here tomorrow. He's run for everything, looks like, in and around here. But he was a great guy to talk to. I had a good time having a conversation with him even for a little while. And he's familiar with the show. So he will be here tomorrow. We'll have a conversation with them. Adam's checking in on Fazio as we speak, by the way, Roland. So there was an article in the Hartford Courant, and I thought it was interesting that the Hartford Courant put this picture up. But the article in the Hartford Courant is about Black Lives Matter 860. Black Lives Matter 860 rendered a photo of Erin Stewart being burned at the stake. And it should outrage everyone that that depiction went unnoticed and untalked about, regardless of who the candidate is. This should be something that Democrats should condemn, that Republicans should condemn, that average Americans should condemn, as well as the news media. That is a bridge too far. However, there's a reason why it wasn't. One, it's not because of anyone who doesn't take Erin Stewart seriously. It is not because they don't care about what Erin Stewart is saying here, which is clearly we call it a violation. Not that it's some sort of law breaking, but it is beyond decorum. But there's a reason why they didn't respond. And I got to tell you, it's a good reason. And that's because Black Lives Matter is a nobody outfit. They just aren't. They have no significance. If this had been released by the NAACP, maybe even the Urban League, maybe even Corey Betts from the local chapter in Hartford, yeah, probably some buzz. But the truth is, the news media has no interest in Black Lives Matter 860. I'll even go so far as to say the same thing is about the NAACP, the Urban League, or anything for that matter. Let me make my point. And the evidence is there. Don't take my word for it. And I don't say go Google it. Trust me. Go find it. Go find it and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Benjamin Crump was here last week, was it? Yeah, last week. Yours truly was there. I went down there because I heard Al Sharpton was going to be there, but I also knew that Ben Crump would be there. I don't know who this Darrell Wilson is, the representative. Don't know him, but he apparently knows me. He wanted nothing to do with me. Shook my hand and kept it moving. Cowards. But no one wanted to shake my hand, except for the guys who got a little bit of, they got a little bit of a backbone. Some people could talk the talk as well as walk the walk. And I've got no beef with them. Why? Because they stand on their own too. Right? And if they've got something to say, they'll come right to me and say it. Unlike the likes of Corey Betts, comes by, jabs me in the ribs, and then runs. Doesn't want any parts because he knows what I'm going to ask him. Hey, when you coming on my show? You've been talking to me for a year now, saying you're going to come on the show. No word from you. You're so busy. Huh? Don't see any racism out here you're chasing, but you're too busy. So they run. And, of course, you know what happened to me and, Scott XL, extra large. You know exactly what happened between he and I. I caught it on tape. You heard it. You heard it right here on these airwaves. I've never lied to you. I never will. That's the reason why I catch it on tape. I will tell you right to your face that a lot of these dudes are corny and they have no real standing here in the city. Black Lives Matter 860, NAACP, local and state, they are useful to white liberals. That's who they are. They are pawns. They do the white man's bidding here in the state. And yes, all of you so-called outraged black folks, Negroes I refer to you, tell them I said it. They are useful idiots for the white man in Connecticut. Media too. When the media wants to show racial strife, they are waiting for the folks at the NAACP, local and state, and Black Lives Matter 860 to write out a press release so the cameras can go down there and catch them doing what they always do, performing. That's right. Go out there and dance for me, which is what they do. And you know they do. White man shows up with the camera. The black people are restless. News at 11. You know it and I know it. By the way, whoever's calling me on my cell phone, just pick up the phone and call me right here, 860-522-WTIC, especially if it's Black Lives Matter. Get on the phone. I'm sure you know the number. But, again, that's the only reason why nobody in the media covered it. They're not going to bring any attention negatively to the good folks at NAACP, local and state, and Black Lives Matter 860. That doesn't help them. They only want them when they're angry about racial strife. The Stevie Jones issue, they threw the cameras at them. And folks, if you want an example of what I'm talking about, again, back to my research point, go back and look it up. Did you find any articles about Benjamin Crump that incorporated NAACP, state or local, or Black Lives Matter 860? Huh? They were all there. Members of every so-called civil rights outfit was standing right there. And there are no articles. I looked it up. It's everywhere. In the most relevant visit, which was April 30th of 2026, when Ben Crump returned to Hartford as part of the NAACP's Legislative Advocacy Day at the state capitol, he held a press conference with the family of Stephen Stevie Jones. The media coverage pattern, mainstream coverage from outlets like WTNH, FSB, Connecticut Public, and others was overwhelmingly centered on Ben Crump. Headlines and leads almost universally lead with him. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump wants stronger regulations. Attorney Ben Crump pushes for Stephen Jones law. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump calls for more oversight. Crump is framed as a nationally recognized, high-profile attorney driving the push, representing the Jones family and delivering key quotes and proposals. The NAACP appears in some stories, but only as context or a secondary partner. The event repeatedly described as happening on NAACP's Legislative Day as part of the NAACP's Legislative Advocacy Day. A few pieces note the NAACP and Attorney Crump are proposing, but there was no real framing. When it came to the leadership of guys like Corey Betts and Scott Extra Large, there were no stories that referenced them or even asked them for a quote. They only quoted Ben Crump. These people are the local rabble-rousers. And TNH, WFSB, none of them cared. Not one lick. They didn't even cite them. And these people have a personal relationship with the local news media, and they never sought them out. They didn't even ask them for B-roll. How interesting. So that's the reason why nobody covered Erin Stewart being depicted in this way from Black Lives Matter 860. What do they have, 9 followers? The only people who responded to this nonsense, this depiction of Erin Stewart the way they did, were people who were outraged by it. There were more people who saw the post who were outraged by it than those who supported it. If you ask black people in this community, hey, do you know Black Lives Matter 860? Do you know what they tell you? Who? Hey, do you know who runs Black Lives Matter 860? We have one of those. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. They don't even know. They have no clue. So we know who the useful idiots are. We know who the rabble-rousers are. We know who the fetchits are. And that's these folks. They have no real pull. They don't. They show up to do exactly what the white man in Connecticut wants them to do. They even call them. I bet you they do. Okay, trust me, when I say I know that they do, they tell me, oh, some of these people are so eager to tell me, yeah, they called us. They asked if we were going to do anything. And it's usually because, hey, it's a slow news day. What are you Negroes outraged about? Are you coming down to Capitol Hill? And these people want that attention so bad. The grievance industry, oh, they are so thirsty. Running around begging for racial tension. Looking for something to be racialized. That's what they are. Well, what are you going to do? So, Erin, I totally get where you're coming from. I understand what her camp is saying. It should not be allowed. People should condemn it. I condemn it. The news media should condemn it. Democrats should condemn it. But, they're never going to go after the people who will do their bidding. Run around in the streets screaming and hollering that the world is unjust. For them, that's a get out the vote campaign. That's all that is. That's exactly what Black Lives Matter is. NAACP too. So, sad, but it's incredibly true. Let me see. Okay, that's something else. Anyway, all right, we got to take a break. I haven't heard from, let me see if I can actually see here. Adam didn't text me back to find out whether or not Ryan is going to call in. So that's okay. If we miss him, we miss him. Maybe he'll call in tomorrow. We'll find out. In fact, I can get in touch with his folks straight ahead. When we come back, I guess we'll wrap all of this up. I don't have any other news stories. I had to fill in so much of it. I had everything up to the moment the show ended, and then Ryan didn't call through it all. This is the reason why you have to have extra stuff. It's the reason why. You got to make sure you got phone calls, you got regular stuff, fill in, kind of throw away stuff. Hey, what do I have here in a stack of stuff? I had everything, right? Because it's Tuesday. And when you got guests, you don't want to clutter it. I hate leaving stories on the table, never getting to them. It's a pain, but you do what you can. Anyway, if you want to call up the end of the show, you know what you can do. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. If you want to join in the program before we get up out of here. Again, don't forget Peter Lamage running for Secretary of State, is going to be on the program tomorrow as well. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher is here. He is at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Maybe you can juggle oranges on the string.
Okay, I didn't even know you were watching me when I did that.
I was around the corner and I was like, whoa, look at Reese juggling those 3 oranges there. That was pretty impressive.
I suck at juggling, I'm telling you. I'm trying.
You kept it going for a while.
I did. I try it now and again just to see if I got the chops. But I'm actually kind of a big fan of people who juggle.
Yeah, it's
weird.
Pretty cool.
It is cool.
It is cool. But I was like, whoa, look at Reese, the man who can do just about anything. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 down to 28. If you are traveling westbound 84, you've got delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush, 84 eastbound, slowing about a mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 2 westbounds tight, 1D up to the 84 West merge. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni. 84 eastbound in Cheshire. You're running slow 25A in Waterbury down to the 691 interchange, losing a little speed westbound 84 in Waterbury, 22 to the Mixmaster, and southbound Parkway a little tight, 51 down to 50 in Hamden. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The warm streak that was underway during the day will continue tonight. Temperatures above average with a low of 57. Clouds on the increase late. That will lead to a couple of showers tomorrow afternoon with a high of 66. Those showers end early tomorrow night, otherwise cloudy down to 48. Breezy with variable cloudiness Thursday up to 65. Mostly cloudy down to 43 Thursday night, and partly sunny on Friday, the high temperature 62. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Making sense of it all and having fun. That's how we would sum up our show, Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. It's what happens when you take a Gen Xer, a millennial, and a baby boomer and give them a radio show.
We go through the news the same way you and your friends would, taking the serious stuff seriously while also laughing at the absurd.
Each one of us brings a unique perspective to the news of the day, closing the generation gap in a way no other talk show can. Hear Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins weeknights 6 until 9 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We have sunny skies out here and a temperature of 77 degrees. A shooting in the city of Carrollton, Texas, leaves 2 dead and 3 wounded.
Police say the shooting at Carrollton's K-Town Plaza was not a random act of gunfire and that the victims knew the suspect. The attacker was later arrested after a short foot chase. The FBI and other federal agents are investigating at the scene.
Correspondent Allison Keys. There's a civil trial taking place in Waterbury to determine if the State Department of Children and Families was negligent in the death of a baby boy over a decade ago. In July of 2015, Aiden Moreno was thrown from the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown by his father, Tony Moreno. Moreno jumped from the bridge but lived. He's now serving 70 years behind bars on the murder charge. The wrongful death suit argues DCF should be held liable and should have known that the baby was in danger. Very modest gains on the jobs front in March in Connecticut. Department of Labor reports employers added only 100 positions. Unemployment crept up to 4.8%. The Labor Department, or the labor force, that is, did drop by 7,900 in March. GOP State Senator Steve Harding calls the numbers paltry and questions where the growth is. U.S. military says a ceasefire with Iran remains in effect a day after Tehran was blamed for new attacks in the Strait of Hormuz and against the United Arab Emirates. State about to begin a major rehab project along the Gold Star Bridge on Interstate 95 in southeast Connecticut. They're going to be shifting northbound traffic over to the southbound side to allow for structural strengthening and bridge deck replacement. And in these final hours of the legislative session, state senators have been honoring several colleagues who are not running for re-election. Departing Republican Tony Huang of Fairfield was saluted by Democrats, including Bridgeport's Haran Gaston.
I'm going to miss hearing you around the circle pose sophisticated questions to your colleagues regarding very important policy initiatives, and you have been just a force for good.
Republican Ryan Fazio is leaving the chamber to run for governor. Democrats CeCe Marr and Jan Huckadell are also stepping down, as is the Senate President Martin Looney, the Democrat from Hamden, New Haven. Wall Street, the Dow gained 356 points today. The NASDAQ up 258 and the S&P ahead 58. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we'll do what have we learned in a little bit, but Ryan Fazio is on hold. We'll get to him in a minute because we got traffic and weather coming up in less than 2 minutes, a little bit more than 2 minutes. So we'll get to him. He has called in, so he kept his promise, and that's good. I always love them when they keep their promise. He's a good guy like that anyway, both he and Betsy. So we'll get to them in a second. I guess with that, why don't we get into...
Now, what have we learned? What have we learned?
What have we learned from this little fable?
So what have we learned, if nothing else, children?
So what have we learned, huh? So what have we learned from that?
So what have we learned here today? What have we learned so far?
What we learned... What have we learned? Actually, that is not Major Payne. It is, you're right with the actor, but it is not from Major Payne. What have we learned, children, is Homie the Clown. Yeah, Homie the Clown. Did he say that, really, in Major Payne? Okay, now I have to look it up now. Can you figure out who the last one was? The girl. She's the only woman. Can you figure out who the woman is and what have we learned? Okay, I'll play it for you again. So what we learned today is is that A.G. Tong either thinks you're stupid or he is because he doesn't understand the Constitution in suggesting that Connecticut is a sovereign state. The craziest thing I've ever heard today. Which was definitely, we're going to play a lot of it tomorrow. We're going to get to the bottom. I'm going to try to get a constitutional lawyer on the program just so we can break it down. You need to check out the earlier part of the show so you can listen to it. Also, the breakdown, we learned that everything about this new law, Senate Bill 397, which was signed by Lamont in this pageantry, if you will, does nothing to the federal officer, and it does everything to the state and local police officer. And those are the people who are going to be, yes, pun intended, handcuffed by this law, and they know it, and they're doing it intentionally. That's what we learned today. So tomorrow, like I said, we got Peter Lamage on the program. Ryan Fazio is coming up at the other side of this break, and then we'll wrap up the show. I don't know. I think we'll have Roseanne in tomorrow since it's Wednesday to cover news and views on the program as well. So stand by for that. So like I said, don't go nowhere. Ryan Fazio's up. We'll preview him coming out to the 11th Commandment GOP gubernatorial debate. Talk to him a little bit about that, and we'll get him on and off the phone so he can get back to his real job instead of entertaining us. Let's get a check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's here. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. This traffic report being brought to you by Whittlesey. And if you're heading 84 eastbound into Hartford, delays about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 slowing east. Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to exit 46 Sisson Avenue. 91 southbound's a little tight, 33 to 32 again. 27 down to 28. If you're traveling 9 northbound into Middletown, you're slowing approaching the Aragoni. 84 eastbound in Cheshire, a little tight, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Rollover accident now in Wallingford, 91 northbound between 15 and 16. The left lane's outstate to the right there, and you are seeing the delays building behind that. And if you're traveling southbound 95 New Haven, a little tight, 46 down to exit 44. Whittlesey wants your business to succeed. Whittlesey is more than an accounting firm. They're advocates for your business, delivering a robust set of solutions, including audit, tax, technology, cybersecurity, and advisory services. Learn more at wadvising.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
You have to go all the way back to I-87 to see those showers. They will arrive here tomorrow, but in the meantime, we have an elevated fire risk because of the low humidity and the dry air in place today. Now, overnight, it'll be breezy with increasing clouds, the low temperature down to 57. A couple of showers, mostly cloudy, breezy. 66 will be the high tomorrow. Those showers will end tomorrow night. It'll be cloudy with a low of 48. Breezy with a mix of sun and clouds Thursday up to 65. Friday, partly sunny and breezy up to 62, and a couple of showers come back in the picture on Saturday with a high of only 59 degrees. Right now, it's 74 in New Britain, 75 in Granby, and 73 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers, only at Starbucks.
Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment was "Thou shalt not speak ill of another Republican," a political rule established in the 1960s to foster party unity by discouraging public infighting. On May 7th, WTIC News Talk 1080 will host the 11th Commandment Republican gubernatorial debate, with candidates vying for the Republican nomination at the private event room at Stadium 15 in Farmington. The debate will be live on the air, but if you'd like to be in the audience, listen to Brian and Company every morning and Reese on the radio every afternoon for your chance to win a pair of tickets. WTIC News Talk 1080's 11th Commandment Republican gubernatorial debate is sponsored by AARP Connecticut.
It's been life-changing. It really has. Went up to CQC Kinetics. I could feel the difference the way I got out of bed. I could feel the difference throughout the day. I could feel the difference while I was playing golf.
Let's rewind. That's an elated QC Kinetics patient, David Smoke, a very active TV and radio sports personality who loves to run and golf.
I started to notice some aches and pains, an aching, throbbing pain in my right hip. I didn't want to get cut on. I've had MRIs, and it showed no structural damage. I've tried the steroid injections, and that just seemed like it kicked the can down the road.
It's that endless cycle that leaves you continually fighting joint pain in your hips, knees, shoulders, and back. But this is where it ends with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
I've tried it all. The only thing that's different is me going to QC Kinetics. I believe in it because it's worked.
Don't waste another day going in circles. Make QC Kinetics your first call. The consultation is absolutely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. And there he is on the line. I know you're busy, buddy. Don't worry about it. Don't apologize. It's okay. I know you're busy out there, buddy. Ryan Fazio joins us on the program, sir. Thank you for calling in. I just wanted to get you and Betsy on today, sort of preview the debate. And thank you again. If I haven't thanked you enough, thank you for being a part of this and doing this for the station and for our listeners.
Well, thank you for hosting it. I think it's extraordinarily important that we as Republican primary voters, you have a chance to hear all the candidates for every office in a debate setting where you can explain your thinking, explain where you stand on the issues, and your record in, an extemporaneous way, without cue cards, without the teleprompters, just a free-flowing format. And I think that it's going to be beneficial to me and Betsy and the Republican electorate that we're participating and that you're hosting for everyone to listen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. It's something just on sort of the lighter. I know that you've got plenty of things you want to talk about, but somebody had said something the other day that I wanted to help you out with. Now, I'm not going to do Abdonna Brazil and give you any questions, beforehand, but someone did say this, and I thought it was sort of like off-putting that they said it. And in fact, it happened at a debate or a town hall that you did not too long ago. Somebody referred to you as a Clark Kent type. They said it to me. They said, yeah, that Ryan Fazio guy, he reminds me too much of Clark Kent. Do you know what my response to them was? I said, you do know who Clark Kent turns out to be, right? It's like, it's the complete, the guy looked at me and went, okay, that's a good point. I wouldn't use that as a punchline, if you will, but I thought it was interesting. You've been all over the state, and I know you just opened up the headquarters. TJ Duarte, one of my kids that I'm mentoring, was there and was really excited to come meet you and to be there. He thought it was overwhelming support. You guys had to open up extra rooms. Has that really been what your campaign is like? Has been sort of like a growing thing here in the state of Connecticut, and you're watching it happen every day?
Yes, it's so exciting and so gratifying, and I was so privileged to have 200 people at our grand opening. It was extraordinarily warm because it was packed to the brim, and he's a great kid, and we had so many young people there. That was really the thing that resonated with so many people. I had my future in-laws there, and they were so happy to see so many young people, young men who are engaged. And that's exactly, I think, how a campaign is supposed to be. It's a gradual climb where we're building momentum, building traction through hard work and focusing on the substantive issues that matter and that regular people want addressed in their daily lives because they understand Connecticut can do better. So we're feeling the love. We're feeling the momentum. This is a campaign that's, coming from the heart. It's coming from the fact that Amy and I, love this state that we grew up in, and we want to leave it better than what we inherited for the next generation, for young people like TJ and so many other young men and women who love this state as well and just want to simply be able to live here, work here, buy a house here, raise a family here themselves, but can't do that under the present leadership and the failures of this administration. That's what this campaign's about, and that's why we're building support. I think.
Yeah, what is that like? Because, a lot of the complaints of my listeners since I've been here, 2022 and beyond, the complaint that has been is that the party apparatus has had control of this election. I've dealt with you, I've dealt with Betsy, I've dealt with Erin, and I feel it. I don't know if it's real. I think it's real. but I could only be as right as I can possibly be. But so you're on the ground and you're actually touching the people and seeing the people. I need to know from your perspective, does this feel party or people to you?
This is people, and this is our campaign, and we have people on our campaign from all across the state, and it's really a lot of grassroots, movement conservatives, but regular people who just want to see a change in the state. It's not kind of people who are internal to the state party necessarily, but it's people from geographically diverse parts of the state. I mean, there's a reason we chose North Haven, for instance, for our headquarters, because our volunteers and our team members on the campaign live totally spread out across the state. Right. So even though I live in the southwest corner of the state, we didn't put the headquarters there because we have people from all over the state supporting us, volunteering, working on our campaign. And in order to win, we're going to need to build support from all over Connecticut. We're going to need to run up the score and crush it as Republicans in Eastern Connecticut. We're going to need to take back votes that we've lost over the last 10 or 15 years in Southwestern Connecticut. We're going to need to do better in the cities where people are, I think, paying the price of failed progressive governance most of all in terms of lower public safety and higher cost of living. We can win everywhere and do better everywhere, and this is going to take an all-of-the-above approach in order to win this election.
We're on the phone with Ryan Fazio, gubernatorial candidate for the GOP. Ryan, you were on that front, that part you just mentioned about in the inner cities. Of course, we're talking about New Haven, Bridgeport, Waterbury, areas like that. My question to you is, how about this? Are you getting any rumblings from people Are you getting any rumblings from people in the opposition party? What I mean by that is, are you getting any Democrats who are sort of saying that they've shown some interest in your campaign, who may be frustrated by the status quo of the Democrat Party and Governor Lamont so far?
Absolutely, all the time. Especially in my area where people know me, as a candidate most of all. But that's why we're going to have to work hard and get our message out all across the state, first and foremost by showing up and showing up in the places where Republicans are at least accustomed to building support. We have to be confident enough to go to the places where we're weakest and where we need people to get to know us the best. At the end of the day, we are running this campaign out of love for the state that is our home and that deserves better than the current class of leadership that they're getting. Whether you're a registered Democrat or registered unaffiliated or registered Republican in your daily life, you don't want to pay the second highest electric bills in the country. You don't want to pay the third highest taxes in the country. You don't want law enforcement to constantly be undermined, making it more dangerous on your kids to walk to and from school. These are universal issues that neither people of all persuasions want to see addressed in the state leadership has failed them on. And so, I think winning, as you say, in New Haven and Bridgeport, winning more voters there by the thousands can be done. I know that because I represent a city in Stamford. Yeah. I know that in the places in the suburbs where we've lost votes, that we can win back those votes. I've done it in a blue district myself, and I know we can do it statewide.
Yeah. Ryan, do you see yourself becoming more and more frustrated or more motivated behind the bills that have been passed and so far signed by the governor? Of course, we have the homeschooling bill, and then we had 5044, the vaccine bill. This has got to energize you, aside from, I know it's frustrating, but I know it's got to energize you and energize the base and beyond with some of these bills that have passed and being used in your campaign or in, I guess, Republican campaigns all across the state.
I'm mad and I'm energized. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, really, to borrow the phrase.
Yeah.
This is not right. This is not how we should be doing business. This governor has moved further and further to the left over the last 5 years, and I think he's going to pay a price for it at the ballot box because voters were sold a bill of goods by him in his last campaign, that he was some sort of kind of reasonable Democrat.
Moderate, yeah.
But guess what? He's raised your taxes. He's raised your public benefits charge. He's undercut law enforcement and protected violent criminals at every turn. These are the facts. And we need a candidate who can prosecute that case very precisely and very clearly and offer a clear, positive optimistic alternative, and I know we can do that. The reason I'm running and leaving the Senate is because in order to change the state, we're going to have to win statewide. I can't do it from the Senate in a minority. I can only do it as governor, and that's why this is worth the fight, and we'll bring it to the Democrats on a statewide basis.
Ryan Fazio, thank you. I appreciate your time. I'll let you get back to work. We really appreciate it here. Can't wait to see you on Thursday.
See you Thursday. Thanks.
You got it, sir. Ryan Fazio, ladies and gentlemen. Betsy McCaughey. You'll see them Thursday or hear from them Thursday, and you can watch it online as well. I think it'll be on our YouTube page, and then it'll air afterwards on CTN. I think we're going to lend the video to them over at CTN. They'll be covering it as well. Dan writes in the chat room, after seeing them low blows on Facebook, I'm not voting for that guy for any reason. Stewart is the candidate. Okay, well, Dan, I appreciate you. I think that what you're going to learn over the next couple of months is who your support is going to be for and stand for. There have been some back and forth. We're trying to get them. And the whole purpose of this, why is it called the 11th Commandment GOP gubernatorial debate? Because of the 11th Commandment. Thou shalt not, disparage a fellow Republican. Now, I can't hold them to that. People want to win. Some people are going to draw first blood, and they have. But if your reason is because of the low blows and not the policies, I don't know what to tell you. But again, your vote is your vote. Your decision is your decision. So good luck to you. I mean, like I said, I'm cool with whoever you vote for. I've got no horse in this race. Until we get a nominee, then I'm all in. Then I'm all in. Just so you know. James is in Newington. What's up, man?
Hey, Reese, I was just listening to your interview. I want to talk about the only biggest problem in Connecticut for the Connecticut Republican Party is messaging. They're never going to get out a message through the local Channel 3, 61, Fox. I've met most of those people at various functions, and I'm going to be very honest. They're all liberal Democrats, and most are chronically stupid.
Oh, do you know? Let me tell you something. You are 100% right. A reporter who remains nameless proved to me right out the gate how partisan they were, and they did it twice in front of me. I always knew that beforehand, but to watch it in my face was astronomical because it was so brazen. It was done in broad daylight. They didn't even hide it.
Exactly. And so here's my point. The biggest low-hanging fruit that you can hit over and over to try to convince some of our young brainwashed, and I want to know, I raised one of these young brainwashed.
Okay.
I know two of them, actually. But one went to college and looked away from everything that she believed in before. What we have is the no tax on tips in Connecticut, stopping our young people who are trying to afford things like college, like their cars, and they have to pay taxes because Connecticut will not ratify the Trump tax cut and no taxes on tips for lower income people.
100% right. That should have been a message the day that Democrats said no to it.
This needs to be hammered over and over because you have to take I don't want to get into how many young people I know through my relationships with my cousins and others, but they are completely brain dead. And they are very, very into social media, but they really need just a simplified message to why they would change. I will tell you, the loss of Charlie Kirk, not just for the Republican Party, but for America, is going to go down. I was in the same ballroom where Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated. I was in the Ambassador Hotel, not when that happened. But my point about it is, when it comes to a what we call a lynch point in history, there are times when a person is rising and taking them out of the equation changes everything.
Yep.
And for Charlie Kirk was giving all these young people who have been brainwashed for years a chance to rethink. Wait a minute. He's right. I can't afford a house. Wait a minute. I've got a computer science degree, but they're bringing in all these people from India, and I can't even get an entry-level job with my UConn graduate degree, in computer science. I'm at Starbucks. Wait a minute. how in the world can I continue to go forward if every time I'm a man and I walk in anywhere, they tell me I'm a harasser and some kind of other thing that ends in IST before I've even opened my mouth?
James, I have to let you leave it there, but you are 100% right. But guess what? I really do believe that everything Charlie Kirk started and the amount of years that he put in, I think it still resonates today. I don't think we're all lost here, because the alternative is the extreme left is only doubling down on the stuff that he was opposed to, and I think it's growing. But James, thank you so much, man. I appreciate the call.
God bless him, and God bless you, Reese.
God bless. Thank you, sir. All right. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, a pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here mañana at 2 p.m. Mark Christopher, he's getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, sir.
Hey, good night, Reese. And if you're heading toward Hartford 84 westbound, delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge off to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound's a little tight. 46 Sisson Avenue